good evening, my friend, or perhaps good morning, depending on where in the world you happen to be listening from tonight. Before we settle into our journey, tell me in the comments what country you're watching from. I always enjoy seeing how many different corners of the world gather together to wander through history. And if you enjoy slow, detailed historical storytelling, you might consider liking the video and subscribing. Your support helps keep these quiet journeys into the past alive. Now, make yourself comfortable. Perhaps there's rain outside your window. Perhaps the room is dark except for a single lamp. However your evening looks, imagine that the modern world is slowly fading away. The sound of traffic disappears. The glow of electric lights vanishes. And before you stands England, more than 400 years ago. The year is somewhere during the reign of the Tudor monarchs. The roads are muddy. The air smells of wood smoke. Church bells drift across fields. And hidden among the hardships, dangers, diseases, and uncertainties of Tudor life were a handful of jobs that many modern people might actually envy. Yet one of these occupations offered something surprisingly rare in the 16th century: steady income, respectable living conditions, access to education, and a chance to escape the exhausting labor that dominated ordinary life. The question is simple. If you somehow woke up tomorrow in Tudor England, which job would give you the best chance of a comfortable life? The answer may not be what you expect. To understand why, we must first understand what most people were facing. For the majority of Tudor subjects, daily life revolved around agricultural work. England remained overwhelmingly rural throughout much of the Tudor period. Most people lived in villages and worked the land. Their days were governed by seasons, weather, and the demands of crops and livestock. There were no weekends in the modern sense, no paid vacations, no labor protections, no retirement plans. A poor harvest could threaten an entire family's survival. When dawn arrived, work began. Men might plow fields, repair fences, cut timber, or tend animals. Women often managed dairy production, prepared food, brewed ale, cared for children, spun wool, and performed countless household tasks. Children frequently contributed as soon as they were physically capable. Life expectancy was lower than today, although historians caution that averages are heavily affected by infant mortality. Those who survived childhood could often live into their 50s, 60s, or beyond. Still, disease remained a constant concern. Medical knowledge was limited. Infections that are easily treated today could become fatal. Against this backdrop, certain occupations offered remarkable advantages. One of the most attractive positions was that of a skilled craftsman. Imagine becoming a master carpenter in a thriving Tudor town. Carpenters were essential. England was constantly building. Houses required timber frames. Churches needed maintenance. Furniture had to be made. Ships required construction. Work was plentiful. The journey began through apprenticeship. Young apprentices usually lived with their masters and learned the trade over several years. They received practical training while gradually developing expertise. The system could be strict. Masters exercised considerable authority. Yet compared with endless agricultural labor, apprenticeship provided a path toward genuine social mobility. Once skilled, a carpenter might establish his own workshop. He could take apprentices of his own. He might earn enough to own property. In some towns, successful craftsmen became respected members of local government. As evening settled over Tudor streets, a prosperous carpenter might return home, knowing that his skills would remain valuable regardless of harvest conditions. The work was certainly physical. Timber was heavy. Tools required strength. Projects could be dangerous. Yet craftsmanship offered something many laborers lacked: control over one's future. The same could be said for skilled masons. Wherever stone buildings rose above the landscape, masons were needed. Cathedrals, churches, manor houses, bridges, defensive structures all required specialized knowledge. A talented mason might spend years working on ambitious projects that transformed entire communities. Some developed highly respected reputations. Their expertise could carry them from town to town as opportunities emerged. While ordinary villagers often spent their lives within a relatively small geographic area, skilled workers occasionally traveled surprisingly widely. As they moved between projects, they encountered new regions, different customs, and broader networks of employment. For some modern people, that mobility alone might seem appealing. But there was another profession that offered something even more valuable: education. Literacy rates during Tudor England were significantly lower than today, although they gradually improved throughout the period. Being able to read and write opened doors. Schoolmasters occupied an important place within society. A grammar school teacher was not necessarily wealthy, but he often enjoyed a degree of respect unavailable to many laborers. The spread of education became increasingly important during the Tudor era. Religious change, government administration, and commercial growth all encouraged literacy. Imagine spending your days surrounded by books rather than plows. Instead of worrying about weather-destroying crops, your concerns might involve lessons, discipline, and classical texts. Students learned Latin extensively. The curriculum could be demanding. Discipline was often harsh by modern standards. Nevertheless, educated individuals occupied a privileged position within Tudor society. Some schoolmasters later advanced into church positions or administrative careers. Knowledge itself became a valuable asset. And speaking of administration, another surprisingly desirable career awaited those with sufficient education: a government clerk. The Tudor state grew increasingly sophisticated. Records had to be maintained. Correspondence needed drafting. Financial accounts required organization. Officials depended upon literate workers capable of handling paperwork. To modern ears, clerical work may sound dull. Yet compared with backbreaking agricultural labor, a position involving ink, parchment, and record-keeping represented remarkable comfort. These workers often operated indoors. They developed useful connections. They gained insight into government functions. Most importantly, literacy created opportunities unavailable to the majority of the population. As the 16th century progressed, England's administrative machinery expanded. Those who could navigate it successfully often improved their social standing. Not everyone, however, dreamed of ledgers and documents. Some preferred adventure. And surprisingly, one of the most exciting occupations available in Tudor England was connected directly to the sea. England's maritime world was growing. Ships carried goods between ports. Trade expanded. Exploration increased. Naval power gradually became more significant. For skilled sailors, opportunities existed far beyond their home villages. The ocean promised profits, danger, discovery, and uncertainty in equal measure. And for a few fortunate individuals, it offered a route toward wealth that would have seemed unimaginable to an ordinary farm laborer. Yet life at sea carried risks that could transform a promising voyage into a nightmare within a matter of hours. Storms, disease, accidents, and enemy encounters waited beyond every horizon. And one particular Tudor occupation connected to this growing maritime world would become famous throughout England for reasons both glorious and deeply troubling. The story of that profession begins the moment a ship disappears beyond the edge of sight. The story of that profession begins the moment a ship disappears beyond the edge of sight. For people living in Tudor England, the sea represented both opportunity and mystery. Most villagers would never travel far from the place where they were born. Their world might extend only a few miles beyond familiar fields, neighboring churches, and nearby market towns. But sailors lived in a completely different reality. A man who worked aboard a merchant vessel might see ports in France, the Low Countries, Spain, Ireland, or beyond. He would hear unfamiliar languages, encounter foreign customs, and witness landscapes that most of his countrymen could scarcely imagine. This alone made the profession unusual. Yet the greatest attraction was economic. Trade was expanding throughout the 16th century. English merchants increasingly transported wool, cloth, metal goods, and other products abroad. Ships returned carrying valuable imports that supplied growing markets. Experienced sailors became essential. Navigation required skill. Rigging demanded constant attention. Loading and unloading cargo involved hard labor. Storms could arrive without warning. A captain depended heavily upon a capable crew. Life aboard ship was not comfortable by modern standards. Food was often repetitive. Fresh water could become unpleasant during long voyages. Sleeping quarters were cramped. Disease spread easily in confined spaces. Nevertheless, for adventurous individuals, maritime work offered something impossible to ignore: possibility. A successful voyage might produce earnings greater than those available through ordinary agricultural labor. And unlike many rural workers, sailors participated directly in the expanding commercial economy that was gradually reshaping England. Some sailors eventually transitioned into merchant careers. Others invested in trade. A few rose into positions of command. The sea provided a ladder that ambitious men could climb. Not everyone succeeded, of course. Many did not, but the chance existed. And in Tudor England, opportunity itself was valuable. Meanwhile, inland towns were creating another occupation that many modern people might find surprisingly appealing. The profession was brewing. Today, people often associate brewing with large factories and industrial production. Tudor brewing looked very different. Ale formed a regular part of daily life. Water quality could be unreliable in some places, and ale was consumed by many members of society. Brewing therefore occupied an important place within both household and commercial economies. Women had traditionally played major roles in brewing for local consumption. In many communities, small-scale brewing remained connected to household production. However, commercial brewing expanded significantly during the Tudor period. Successful brewers could earn respectable incomes. Demand remained steady. Urban populations required reliable supplies. Taverns and inns depended upon regular deliveries. A capable brewer who managed quality and consistency could build a thriving business. The work certainly involved effort. Large quantities of grain had to be processed. Equipment required maintenance. Production schedules demanded careful attention. Yet compared with many occupations involving constant exposure to harsh weather, brewing offered advantages. It combined practical skill with commercial opportunity. For individuals possessing both technical knowledge and business sense, it could be an attractive path. The same might be said for another profession connected to England's growing towns: the occupation of tailor. Clothing mattered greatly in Tudor society. People immediately recognized social status through dress. Laws known as sumptuary regulations sometimes attempted to control who could wear particular fabrics, colors, or decorative elements. A skilled tailor therefore served an important function. Customers expected garments that reflected their position and resources. Nobles required elaborate clothing. Merchants sought respectable appearances. Professionals needed suitable attire. Tailors transformed fabric into visible social identity. Unlike many labor-intensive trades, tailoring relied heavily upon precision and expertise. Success depended upon craftsmanship. An excellent reputation could attract wealthy clients. Some tailors established prosperous businesses, serving influential members of society. Inside a tailor's workshop, one would find measuring tools, fabrics, needles, thread, and patterns rather than plows or livestock. The environment remained busy, but it differed dramatically from the fields. There was also a certain creative dimension to the work. Styles evolved. Customer preferences changed. Materials varied. Every commission presented its own challenges. For modern people who enjoy design, craftsmanship, and practical problem-solving, tailoring might rank surprisingly high among desirable Tudor occupations. Yet there existed another profession whose advantages were even greater: the printer. To understand why, imagine England during a period of profound transformation: religious upheaval, political change, growing literacy, expanding government administration, increasing commercial activity. All of these developments depended upon information, and information increasingly depended upon print. Printing technology had arrived in England during the late 15th century and expanded throughout the Tudor period. Books became more accessible. Pamphlets circulated ideas. Religious texts reached wider audiences. Government proclamations spread more efficiently. Printers occupied a fascinating position at the intersection of commerce, education, politics, and culture. A successful printing operation required technical knowledge, investment, organization, and skilled labor. But it also connected individuals directly to some of the most important intellectual developments of the age. Working in a print shop meant interacting with texts. New ideas passed through your hands. Religious debates, educational materials, legal documents, and literary works all depended upon printing. In an era when literacy still carried significant social value, this was no small advantage. Of course, printing also carried risks. Political and religious authorities paid close attention to published material. Controversial works could create serious problems. England's religious landscape shifted repeatedly under different Tudor rulers. Ideas considered acceptable during one reign might become dangerous during another. Printers therefore operated within a world that combined opportunity with caution. Still, for educated individuals, it remained one of the most intriguing occupations available. Not all desirable careers centered upon towns, however. Some existed within the households of powerful nobles. Large aristocratic residences functioned almost like small communities. Servants performed countless specialized roles. Modern audiences often imagine all servants living difficult, miserable lives. The reality was more complicated. Conditions varied enormously depending upon position and employer. Senior household officers sometimes enjoyed substantial prestige. Stewards managed finances. Secretaries handled correspondence. Household administrators supervised complex operations involving food, supplies, personnel, and property. Such positions demanded literacy, trustworthiness, and organizational ability. They could provide stable employment, respectable living conditions, and valuable connections. Working within an aristocratic household offered access to networks of influence that might otherwise remain inaccessible. Advancements sometimes followed. Recommendations mattered. Patronage mattered. Relationships mattered. A capable servant who earned confidence and respect could improve his circumstances considerably. Indeed, patronage formed one of the defining features of Tudor society. Many careers advanced through personal connections. Talent remained important, but knowing the right people could be equally significant. This reality affected nearly every profession. Merchants sought influential partners. Lawyers cultivated patrons. Clergymen depended upon appointments. Administrators benefited from recommendations. Success often emerged through a combination of ability, reputation, and relationships. And nowhere was that combination more visible than in one profession that offered extraordinary status, remarkable security, and a level of comfort almost unimaginable to ordinary laborers. It was a career tied closely to education, religion, and power. A profession capable of elevating a talented individual from modest origins into positions of genuine influence. And for many ambitious young men in Tudor England, it represented perhaps the single most attractive path available. The journey toward that occupation usually began not in a palace, not in a government office, and not aboard a ship. It began with a book open beneath the dim light of a candle. The young student leaning over that page could not know exactly where education might lead him. In Tudor England, opportunities were limited for most people, yet learning remained one of the few paths capable of transforming a person's future. For those fortunate enough to receive serious education, the church offered possibilities that few other professions could match. To modern ears, becoming a clergyman may not immediately sound like one of the best jobs in Tudor England. Yet when viewed through the realities of 16th century life, the advantages become remarkably clear. The church occupied a central position within society. Religious life touched nearly every aspect of daily existence. Baptisms, marriages, funerals, festivals, and regular worship connected communities through the parish church. A parish priest often stood among the most educated individuals in the area. People sought his guidance. They listened to his sermons. They depended upon him during life's most important moments. The profession provided status, stability, and influence. Many clergymen enjoyed housing connected to their benefices. Some possessed income derived from church lands or tithes. Their lives varied enormously depending upon location and circumstances, but compared with the uncertainty facing ordinary laborers, the position could be highly desirable. Of course, Tudor religion was anything but simple. The 16th century witnessed dramatic upheaval. England's religious identity changed repeatedly during the Tudor era. Under different monarchs, official doctrine shifted, policies evolved, and institutions transformed. For clergy, these developments created challenges. Adaptability became essential. A priest serving under one ruler might find himself navigating very different expectations under the next. Yet for those who managed these transitions successfully, clerical careers remained attractive. Some advanced into cathedral positions. Others entered university life. A few rose into significant administrative roles. Education opened doors. And nowhere was education more highly valued than at the universities. Imagine arriving at one of England's ancient centers of learning. The stone buildings, the echoing halls, the libraries, the debates. The atmosphere would have felt entirely different from the world of farms and village workshops. The universities trained future clergy, scholars, lawyers, administrators, and educators. Academic life carried prestige. Scholars devoted themselves to theology, philosophy, law, languages, and classical learning. The work was intellectually demanding. Yet compared with occupations requiring relentless physical labor, academic careers possessed obvious attractions. Books became tools rather than luxuries. Knowledge became currency. A respected scholar might attract patronage from influential figures. He might publish works. He might advise powerful individuals. He might shape ideas that influenced entire generations. For modern people who love reading, research, and learning, university life would likely rank among the most appealing corners of Tudor society. However, another educated profession offered even greater financial rewards: the law. As England's economy and administration expanded, legal expertise became increasingly valuable. Property disputes required resolution. Contracts needed drafting. Inheritance issues demanded attention. Business arrangements depended upon legal frameworks. Lawyers occupied an important position within this growing system. Training could be extensive. Success required intelligence, discipline, and persistence. But the rewards could be substantial. A successful lawyer often enjoyed respectable income and social standing. Clients ranged from merchants to landowners to noble families. Legal professionals developed extensive networks of contacts. Their expertise remained in demand. Unlike some occupations dependent upon seasonal conditions, legal work benefited from the complexity of human affairs. Disputes never disappeared. Property questions never vanished. Administration continued to expand. As a result, law offered both stability and opportunity. Many ambitious Tudor families recognized this. Parents who could afford education often viewed legal careers as desirable paths for their sons. And while lawyers dealt with documents and courts, another profession operated even closer to the centers of power: the royal administration. Serving the crown could be exceptionally rewarding. England's government required secretaries, clerks, advisors, diplomats, financial officials, and countless other administrators. The Tudor monarchs oversaw a kingdom that demanded increasingly sophisticated management. Records had to be maintained, policies communicated, taxes collected, diplomatic relations managed. Talented individuals who entered royal service sometimes advanced remarkably far. The most successful became trusted advisors. Their influence could extend across national affairs. Naturally, such positions carried risks. Royal favor could change. Political rivalries could emerge. Court life required careful navigation. Yet the opportunities remained undeniable. For ambitious and capable individuals, government service offered one of the most powerful routes toward advancement. This brings us closer to a fascinating reality of Tudor England. Many of the best jobs shared a common characteristic. They relied upon specialized knowledge. The further one moved away from purely physical labor and toward expertise, literacy, administration, or professional skill, the more advantages tended to appear. A master craftsman possessed knowledge. A lawyer possessed knowledge. A printer possessed knowledge. A scholar possessed knowledge. A government official possessed knowledge. In an age when education remained relatively limited, expertise itself became valuable capital. But there was another occupation where specialized knowledge translated directly into wealth: medicine. Now, Tudor medicine differed greatly from modern medical practice. Scientific understanding remained incomplete. Many treatments reflected theories that would later be abandoned. Yet medical practitioners occupied respected positions within society. Physicians, surgeons, and apothecaries each performed distinct roles. Physicians generally focused on diagnosis and theory. Surgeons handled procedures involving wounds, injuries, and physical treatments. Apothecaries prepared medicines and remedies. Among these professions, physicians often enjoyed considerable prestige. They served wealthy clients. They received education unavailable to most people. Their services commanded significant fees. A successful physician might build relationships with influential families and establish a prosperous practice. Of course, medical work involved responsibility. Patients expected help. Outcomes were uncertain. Disease remained poorly understood. Still, compared with many occupations of the era, medicine offered status, intellectual engagement, and financial opportunity. Meanwhile, throughout England's towns and cities, another group quietly accumulated wealth: merchants. If there was one profession capable of producing extraordinary success during the Tudor period, it was commerce. England's economy was changing. Trade expanded domestically and internationally. Markets grew. Commercial networks developed. Merchants stood at the center of these developments. A successful merchant purchased goods, arranged transportation, negotiated agreements, and sold products for profit. Some specialized in cloth. Others traded metals, spices, wine, timber, or imported luxuries. The most prosperous merchants accumulated impressive fortunes. Their wealth sometimes rivaled that of traditional landowners. Many invested in property. Some financed voyages. Others became influential civic leaders. The profession demanded intelligence, calculation, and willingness to accept risk. Markets fluctuated. Cargoes could be lost. Political events could disrupt trade. Yet the potential rewards were substantial. And as England's connections with the wider world continued expanding, opportunities multiplied. In fact, the growth of trade would soon create entirely new possibilities for ambitious individuals. New markets, new voyages, new fortunes. Some would succeed beyond their wildest expectations. Others would lose everything. And one particular opportunity emerging during the later Tudor years seemed so promising that many regarded it as a gateway to almost unimaginable wealth. The rumors spread through ports, merchant houses, and royal circles alike. Somewhere beyond familiar waters, profits were waiting. And England was becoming increasingly determined to find them. By the latter half of the Tudor period, the world seemed larger than ever before, yet also strangely smaller. News traveled slowly, but stories traveled remarkably far. Merchants returned from distant ports carrying not only cargo but information. Sailors shared tales of foreign cities, unfamiliar peoples, dangerous seas, and opportunities that seemed almost unbelievable to those who had never ventured beyond their own county. In taverns near England's ports, conversations often drifted toward trade. What goods were selling well? Which routes appeared promising? Which markets offered the greatest profits? For ambitious merchants, these questions were more than interesting discussions. They were pathways toward wealth. A successful merchant occupied a unique place in Tudor society. Unlike noblemen, he did not inherit status through ancient titles. Unlike farmers, his fortunes were not tied directly to harvests. Unlike craftsmen, he was not limited by the output of his own hands. Instead, he worked through exchange, buying, selling, negotiating, calculating. A skilled merchant could multiply wealth through judgment rather than physical labor. This made commerce one of the most attractive occupations in England. Consider a prosperous cloth merchant. English wool and cloth remained among the kingdom's most important exports. Entire regions depended upon textile production. Sheep grazed across rolling fields, while spinning, weaving, dyeing, and finishing provided employment for thousands. The merchant connected these local industries to broader markets. He arranged shipments, managed accounts, maintained relationships with partners abroad. Every successful transaction strengthened his position. Many merchants lived comfortably compared with average Tudor households. Their homes often stood in thriving towns. They had access to imported goods. Their children sometimes received education that would have been impossible only a generation earlier. Some families rose dramatically through commercial success. Indeed, one of the remarkable features of Tudor England was the increasing visibility of wealthy merchant families. Money alone could not instantly erase social distinctions, but prosperity opened doors. Land could be purchased. Influence could be acquired. Respectability could be cultivated. Over time, successful merchants sometimes transformed their families' fortunes for generations. Yet commerce did not only occur overseas. Market towns formed the beating heart of local economies. Throughout England, weekly markets brought together farmers, traders, craftsmen, and customers. These gatherings served practical purposes, but they also connected communities. Imagine arriving at a busy market on a cool morning. Stalls line the streets. Animals wait in pens. Voices rise above the crowd. Merchants display fabrics, tools, food, household goods, and imported items. The smells of livestock, bread, smoke, and ale mingle in the air. Such markets created opportunities for countless occupations. Shopkeepers, traders, transporters, and suppliers all benefited from commercial activity. A successful shopkeeper, for example, could enjoy a relatively stable livelihood. Rather than traveling constantly, he established himself within a community. Customers returned regularly. Reputation mattered enormously. Trust encouraged repeat business. A respected shopkeeper became an important figure within local life. And while large fortunes were uncommon, steady prosperity remained achievable. This balance between stability and independence made trade appealing to many. Unlike agricultural workers dependent upon employers or landowners, business owners exercised greater control over their circumstances. Of course, risk never disappeared. Economic downturns occurred. Competition existed. Unexpected events disrupted plans. Yet successful traders often enjoyed flexibility unavailable in many other professions. Another occupation benefiting from England's commercial growth was that of the innkeeper. Travel increased during the Tudor era. Merchants moved between towns. Officials conducted government business. Pilgrims, before the religious changes of the Reformation, journeyed to sacred sites. Messengers carried information across the kingdom. All required food, lodging, and services. Inns became essential institutions. A well-managed inn could become a profitable enterprise. Travelers needed meals. Animals required care. Rooms had to be maintained. Supplies needed constant replenishment. The work demanded organization and effort, but it also placed innkeepers at the center of local activity. They heard news before many others. They met visitors from distant regions. Their establishments often functioned as gathering places where information and commerce intersected. For someone who enjoyed interacting with people and managing a business, innkeeping offered considerable attractions. Yet despite these opportunities, most people in Tudor England still lived close to the land. And among rural occupations, a few stood out as particularly desirable. One of these was farming substantial leased land. Not every farmer lived in poverty. The image of universal rural hardship oversimplifies Tudor society. Some tenant farmers managed large and productive holdings. They employed laborers, owned livestock, participated actively in local markets, and accumulated respectable incomes. Such farmers occupied an important middle position within society. They were not nobles. They were not wealthy merchants. Yet they often enjoyed security and independence. Good land management mattered enormously. Successful farmers understood crops, livestock, weather patterns, and local markets. Knowledge passed through generations. Experience carried tremendous value. A capable farmer could build prosperity through careful decisions and hard work. Indeed, some of the most stable lives in Tudor England belonged to well-established farming families. Their fortunes rose and fell less dramatically than those of merchants engaged in risky ventures. Their livelihoods remained rooted in tangible resources. Land produced food. Livestock generated income. Property provided security. In a world filled with uncertainty, these advantages mattered greatly. Meanwhile, another profession operated between rural and urban life: millers. Today, a mill might seem like a minor detail within the landscape. In Tudor England, however, mills performed a vital economic function. Grain required grinding before becoming flour. Entire communities depended upon this process. As a result, millers occupied important positions within local economies. Many controlled valuable facilities. Customers came regularly. Income remained relatively steady. Because food production depended upon milling, demand rarely disappeared. The profession sometimes attracted suspicion or jokes regarding measurements and fees, yet economically speaking, it could be highly advantageous. A successful miller often enjoyed greater comfort than many laborers around him. His occupation connected directly to one of society's fundamental needs: food. And where food was concerned, business tended to remain reliable. Still, among all the occupations available during the Tudor period, there existed one category whose rewards could exceed nearly everything else. It required courage. Education helped but was not always essential. Connections mattered. Timing mattered. Fortune mattered. For those who succeeded, the rewards could be extraordinary. For those who failed, consequences could be devastating. It was the world of royal patronage. The Tudor court stood at the center of power. Around the monarch gathered nobles, officials, servants, advisors, diplomats, and hopeful petitioners. Every ambitious individual understood a simple truth: the closer one stood to royal favor, the greater the potential rewards. Positions at court could transform lives. Land grants, offices, pensions, influence, prestige. Opportunities seemed endless. Yet court life also carried dangers hidden beneath its glittering surface. A careless word, a political rivalry, a change in royal priorities. Any of these could alter a person's fortunes overnight. And nowhere would this reality become more obvious than during the reign of a king whose court was famous throughout Europe for both astonishing opportunity and extraordinary risk. A ruler whose decisions shaped the lives of countless people seeking the very best jobs Tudor England could offer. His name was already known in every corner of the kingdom, and serving him successfully could make a career beyond imagination. His name was already known in every corner of the kingdom, and serving him successfully could make a career beyond imagination. The king was Henry VIII. Few rulers have left a larger mark upon Tudor England. His reign lasted nearly 4 decades and witnessed enormous political, religious, and social change. To ordinary subjects, the king often seemed distant, yet the decisions made within his court affected lives throughout the realm. For ambitious men seeking advancement, royal service represented one of the greatest opportunities available. Imagine arriving at court for the first time. The scale alone would be impressive. Servants moving through corridors, officials carrying documents, gentlemen attending to duties, messengers arriving with news from across England and abroad. The royal household was not merely a residence. It was an administrative center, a political arena, and an employer of hundreds of people. Many positions at court involved practical responsibilities rather than glamorous ceremony. Secretaries drafted correspondence. Financial officers managed accounts. Clerks maintained records. Stewards supervised supplies. Physicians attended members of the royal household. Musicians provided entertainment. Every role contributed to the functioning of the court. Some of these positions offered surprisingly attractive careers. Take, for example, a royal secretary. The job required literacy, organization, and intelligence. Correspondence flowed constantly between the crown and officials throughout the kingdom. Diplomatic communications arrived from foreign courts. Policies needed explanation. Instructions required distribution. A capable secretary occupied a position of trust, and trust could lead to influence. Unlike hereditary nobles whose status depended upon birth, talented administrators could rise through service. The Tudor period contains numerous examples of individuals from relatively modest backgrounds who advanced because of education and ability. For modern observers, this is one of the most fascinating aspects of the era. Talent did not eliminate social barriers. but it sometimes allowed people to cross them. The same was true within the legal profession. As government expanded, skilled lawyers became increasingly valuable. Royal courts handled complex matters involving land, inheritance, taxation, and administration. A successful lawyer might advise powerful clients, represent important interests, and accumulate considerable wealth. Many legal professionals invested their earnings in land. Property ownership remained one of the most reliable indicators of status. Land generated income, provided security, and enhanced social standing. Thus, law frequently became a bridge between professional success and long-term prosperity. Another profession closely connected to advancement was surveying. At first glance, surveying may sound technical and unremarkable, yet Tudor England depended heavily upon accurate knowledge of land. Property boundaries mattered. Agricultural resources mattered. Ownership mattered. Governments, nobles, and institutions all required reliable information about estates and holdings. Surveyors possessed specialized skills that commanded respect. They measured land, prepared maps, recorded valuable details. Their expertise supported legal transactions, taxation, and estate management. As England's economy evolved, such knowledge became increasingly important. For someone who enjoyed mathematics, observation, and practical problem-solving, surveying offered a surprisingly attractive occupation. Meanwhile, throughout the kingdom, another group quietly enjoyed some of the most stable lives available. Successful artisans operating within guild systems. Guilds played significant roles in many towns. These organizations regulated trades, maintained standards, supervised apprenticeships, and protected professional interests. Membership often provided economic advantages. Customers trusted established craftsmen. Training ensured quality. Professional networks encouraged stability. A master goldsmith, for example, might enjoy both financial success and social prestige. Working with precious metals required skill and trustworthiness. Clients expected excellence. Mistakes could be expensive, yet the rewards often justify the effort. Similarly, master clockmakers, armorers, and other highly skilled craftsmen occupied respected positions. Their expertise could not easily be replaced. In an age before mass production, specialized craftsmanship carried immense value. Every object required human skill. Every commission reflected individual labor. This reality created opportunities for those who mastered their trades. And while many professions depended upon local markets, some individuals found success through international connections. Foreign trade increasingly linked England to broader commercial networks. Merchants developed partnerships with contacts abroad. Imported luxury goods attracted wealthy customers. Export markets generated profits. Knowledge of languages became useful. Understanding foreign customs became valuable. Business expanded beyond traditional boundaries. For a merchant capable of navigating these complexities, opportunities multiplied considerably. Yet even prosperous merchants sometimes looked with envy toward another source of wealth: land ownership. Throughout Tudor society, land remained one of the most desirable assets a person could possess. Land generated rents, produced food, provided security, enhanced status. Unlike cargoes that could sink or markets that could fluctuate, land represented permanence. Many successful professionals invested profits in estates whenever possible. A lawyer who accumulated wealth might purchase property. A merchant might acquire farmland. A government official might invest in rural holdings. Ownership connected economic success to social advancement. This pursuit of land explains much about Tudor ambitions. People sought not merely income but stability, not merely success but permanence. And in a world filled with uncertainty, permanence was deeply attractive. Still, no discussion of desirable Tudor careers would be complete without considering the church scholars, administrators, and educators who shaped intellectual life. Grammar schools expanded during the Tudor period. Education became increasingly important. Families who could afford schooling often viewed it as an investment. Students studied Latin extensively. They learned rhetoric, grammar, and classical texts. The curriculum could be demanding, sometimes brutally so. Discipline remained strict. Yet education opened doors unavailable through most other paths. A talented student might continue to university. From there he could enter the church, law, teaching, or government service. Learning became a form of capital. Knowledge generated opportunity. This principle feels familiar today, but in Tudor England it carried particular significance because educated individuals remained a minority. As literacy spread, demand for skilled readers and writers increased. Administrative systems required documentation. Commercial activity required records. Religious change encouraged engagement with texts. Every development strengthened the value of education. And while scholars studied books, another profession worked directly with some of the most valuable information in the kingdom: diplomacy. Diplomats occupied fascinating positions within Tudor society. They traveled abroad, observed foreign courts, negotiated agreements, reported intelligence. Their work demanded discretion, education, and political awareness. Success required understanding both people and governments. A skilled diplomat might spend months or years representing English interests overseas. Such individuals gained unique perspectives unavailable to most contemporaries. They witnessed major events firsthand. They met influential figures. They operated within the highest levels of international politics. For those capable of handling its challenges, diplomacy offered prestige, excitement, and opportunity. Yet even diplomats could never fully escape the unpredictable nature of Tudor politics. Fortunes rose. Fortunes fell. Royal favor shifted. Policies changed. And over time, England itself was changing. Trade expanded. Cities grew. New ideas circulated. The economy became more complex than it had been generations earlier. These transformations would create opportunities that earlier Tudors could scarcely have imagined. Some occupations would grow more prosperous. Others would decline. And among the emerging possibilities was one profession connected to money itself, a career that increasingly placed certain individuals at the center of England's growing commercial future. A future that would gradually make wealth, rather than birth alone, one of the kingdom's most powerful forces. A future that would gradually make wealth, rather than birth alone, one of the kingdom's most powerful forces. For much of medieval England, land had been the primary measure of prosperity. If you wanted influence, security, and status, you generally needed land. That reality did not disappear during the Tudor period. Yet something important was changing. Money itself was becoming increasingly significant. Trade expanded. Markets grew. Cities developed. International commerce connected England to a wider world. As these changes unfolded, a new class of financially successful individuals began to emerge with growing confidence. Some of the most fortunate found themselves working in occupations directly connected to finance. Managing money may not sound particularly exciting compared with sailing distant seas or serving at court, but in Tudor England it could be remarkably rewarding. Large estates required accounting. Merchants needed financial records. Government offices tracked taxes and expenditures. Loans had to be documented. Transactions required oversight. A skilled financial administrator possessed abilities that were increasingly valuable. Numbers mattered. Accuracy mattered. Trust mattered. Individuals who demonstrated competence in these areas often enjoyed stable careers. Unlike many physical occupations, their expertise grew more valuable with experience. A respected financial officer might serve wealthy merchants, noble households, church institutions, or government departments. His work took place in a world of ledgers, calculations, and records rather than fields and workshops. For modern people who enjoy organization and analysis, it would likely rank among the more comfortable Tudor professions. Closely connected to this financial world was estate management. Many large landowners owned extensive properties spread across multiple locations. Managing these holdings required considerable skill. Rents needed collection. Repairs required supervision. Tenants had to be monitored. Accounts demanded careful maintenance. And estate steward occupied an important position within the system. The role combined administration, finance, agriculture, and leadership. A capable steward might oversee hundreds of acres and dozens of tenants. His decisions affected both productivity and profitability. Successful stewards earned respect because their responsibilities were substantial. For someone who enjoyed practical management rather than manual labor, it represented an attractive career path. Meanwhile, England's growing towns continued creating opportunities for skilled professionals. Among them were notaries and scriveners. Today, these occupations are often overlooked. In Tudor England, however, they performed essential functions. Many people could not write fluently. Important agreements required documentation. Contracts needed preparation. Letters required drafting. Legal records demanded accuracy. A scrivener possessed valuable literacy skills. Customers paid for expertise they lacked themselves. The profession relied upon education, precision, and trustworthiness. In a society where written communication carried increasing importance, such abilities translated into economic opportunity. Imagine spending your day preparing documents for merchants, landowners, and local officials. The work required concentration. Mistakes could create serious problems. Yet compared with physically exhausting labor, the profession offered obvious advantages. It also illustrates a broader pattern visible throughout Tudor England. Again and again, the most desirable occupations involved specialized knowledge. The more difficult a skill was to acquire, the more valuable it often became. This principle applied equally to another respected profession, architecture and building design. England experienced substantial construction activity during the Tudor era. New manor houses appeared. Existing buildings were expanded. Wealthy families invested heavily in impressive residences. These projects required planning. A master builder needed far more than physical strength. He required understanding of materials, structure, design, labor organization, and cost management. Successful builders earned considerable respect. Large projects could continue for years. Employing dozens of workers demanded leadership and expertise. For talented individuals, construction offered a route toward prosperity that extended beyond ordinary craftsmanship. Some master builders developed reputations that spread well beyond their local communities. Clients sought them specifically. Their knowledge became a valuable commodity. And as England's wealthy classes continued investing in ambitious residences, demand for skilled professionals remained strong. Another occupation benefiting from economic growth was transportation. Although travel remained slower than modern people can easily imagine, goods still needed movement. Roads connected towns. Rivers carried cargo. Coastal shipping linked regions. Transporters played vital roles within commercial networks. Particularly successful were those who operated wagons, managed shipping arrangements, or coordinated logistics for merchants. Their work supported expanding trade. Every sack of grain, every bale of cloth, every barrel of ale ultimately depended upon transportation. Without reliable movement of goods, commerce would have stalled. Thus, individuals capable of organizing transport occupied important positions within local economies. Still, no profession reflected Tudor ambitions quite like overseas trade. As stories of distant opportunities circulated through ports and merchant houses, more people became interested in international ventures. The possibility of extraordinary profit proved difficult to resist. A successful overseas merchant might earn sums far beyond what most English subjects could ever hope to accumulate. Naturally, these opportunities attracted competition. Risk accompanied reward. Storms destroyed ships. Pirates threatened cargoes. Political conflicts disrupted trade routes. Yet despite these dangers, many merchants considered the risks worthwhile. Some fortunes grew dramatically. Others vanished entirely. Such uncertainty became part of commercial life. And while merchants pursued profit abroad, skilled professionals continued transforming life at home. One particularly respected occupation involved medicine's practical counterpart, the surgeon. Modern surgery bears little resemblance to Tudor practice. Techniques were limited. Pain management was primitive. Infection remained poorly understood. Even so, skilled surgeons performed valuable services. They treated injuries, managed wounds, addressed fractures, handled conditions requiring physical intervention. Many gained experience through apprenticeships rather than university education. Practical skill mattered enormously. Military campaigns, accidents, and everyday injuries ensured steady demand. A respected surgeon could establish a successful practice and build a strong reputation within the community. For individuals interested in practical problem-solving and hands-on expertise, it represented a surprisingly attractive profession. As evenings settled over Tudor towns, these various occupations shared something important. They offered alternatives. Alternatives to relentless field labor. Alternatives to dependence upon uncertain harvests. Alternatives to the vulnerabilities that shaped so many ordinary lives. A merchant balanced accounts. A lawyer reviewed documents. A physician consulted patients. A schoolmaster prepared lessons. A steward managed estates. A printer set type. Each occupied a different world, yet all benefited from skills that could not easily be replaced. And perhaps that is the greatest lesson hidden within Tudor employment. The best jobs were rarely the easiest. They required years of training, patience, discipline, connections, persistence. But once acquired, those skills often provided comfort, influence, and opportunity unavailable to most of the population. Still, among all these desirable occupations, one group enjoyed advantages so remarkable that many contemporaries viewed them with a mixture of admiration and envy. They possessed education. They held influence. They advised powerful figures. Some even shaped national policy. Their profession stood at the crossroads of learning, religion, politics, and government. And for the most successful among them, the rewards could extend far beyond salary or status. They could leave lasting marks upon the history of England itself. They could leave lasting marks upon the history of England itself. Few occupations in Tudor England offered that possibility more clearly than service as a senior scholar, church administrator, or royal advisor. These positions existed near the very center of decision-making. While ordinary people focused on harvests, rents, market prices, and local concerns, a small group of educated men spent their days discussing matters that affected the entire kingdom. To understand why such careers were so attractive, imagine the value of information in Tudor England. There were no newspapers arriving every morning, no telephones, no internet, no instant communication. News moved through letters, messengers, merchants, travelers, and official reports. Those who occupied positions close to government often knew important developments long before anyone else. Knowledge itself became a form of power. An advisor serving a noble family or government office might receive reports from across England and abroad. Diplomatic developments, military preparations, religious debates, economic concerns, all flowed through networks of correspondence. For educated individuals, participating in this world could be intellectually fascinating. It also brought practical benefits, influential contacts, professional opportunities, access to powerful patrons. These advantages often proved just as valuable as direct income. Indeed, patronage remained one of the most important forces shaping Tudor careers. A recommendation from the right person could transform a life. A wealthy noble might support a promising scholar. A bishop might advance a talented cleric. A government official might promote a capable secretary. Connections open doors. This was true throughout society, but especially within professional occupations. Modern people sometimes imagine Tudor England as a rigid world where social movement was impossible. The reality was more complicated. Birth mattered greatly. Wealth mattered. Family background mattered. Yet talent and education occasionally allowed remarkable advancement. Numerous Tudor figures rose far beyond the circumstances into which they were born. Such stories inspired ambition. Parents who invested in education often hoped their children might achieve opportunities unavailable to previous generations. This brings us to one of the most respected occupations of all: university fellow and scholar. The life of a scholar was not necessarily luxurious. Many lived modestly. Resources could be limited. Academic responsibilities were demanding. Yet for those who genuinely loved learning, the profession offered unique rewards. Days were spent reading, teaching, debating, and writing. Scholars engaged with theology, law, philosophy, medicine, languages, and classical literature. Universities served as centers of intellectual life. Ideas circulated through lectures and discussions. Students arrived from various regions. Books connected readers with centuries of accumulated knowledge. For modern people who enjoy study and research, the environment would likely feel remarkably familiar despite the centuries separating us. Of course, scholarship alone did not always guarantee financial security. Many academics relied upon church appointments, patrons, or administrative roles. Yet successful scholars often built influential careers extending beyond university walls. Some advised governments. Others served as diplomats. Still others shaped religious policy. Knowledge created opportunities that reached far into public life. Meanwhile, outside academic circles, another occupation quietly offered one of the best combinations of income and stability available during the Tudor era: the prosperous merchant exporter. England's cloth trade remained enormously important throughout much of the 16th century. Textiles represented one of the kingdom's major economic engines. Wool production supported countless livelihoods. Processing and export generated substantial wealth. Merchants operating within this system occupied advantageous positions. They coordinated transactions across regions and borders, managed inventories, negotiated prices, arranged transportation, built networks of trusted contacts. Success required intelligence and discipline, yet the rewards could be substantial. Some merchant families accumulated fortunes large enough to reshape their social standing entirely. Their homes reflected prosperity. Their children received education. Their influence within local communities expanded. Commerce offered a pathway that did not depend upon noble birth. This made it especially appealing. And as England's economy became more commercial, such opportunities multiplied. At the same time, many desirable occupations benefited from urban growth. Towns created demand for specialized services. Among the most successful professionals were apothecaries. An apothecary occupied a fascinating position between medicine, commerce, and science. He prepared remedies, stored ingredients, advised customers, maintained inventories of herbs, minerals, oils, and compounds. The profession demanded practical knowledge. Mistakes could have serious consequences. Customers depended upon expertise. A respected apothecary often became an important figure within the community. His shop attracted a wide range of visitors. Wealthy clients sought treatments. Ordinary residents purchased remedies. Travelers occasionally stopped in search of assistance. The business combined professional skill with commercial opportunity. For those who mastered it, success could be quite comfortable. Another occupation offering both respect and stability was that of a successful parish administrator. Although less celebrated than merchants or lawyers, local officials performed essential functions throughout Tudor England. Records needed maintenance. Community matters required supervision. Taxes and obligations had to be managed. Capable administrators often became trusted figures within their regions. Their responsibilities varied, but their importance was undeniable. Many communities depended heavily upon individuals willing and able to handle organizational tasks. Again, we see the recurring pattern. Literacy mattered. Numeracy mattered. Administration mattered. The skills most likely to produce comfortable lives often involved knowledge rather than physical strength. This distinction becomes even clearer when we compare professional occupations with the realities faced by unskilled laborers. A day labor frequently depended upon finding work from one day to the next. Employment could fluctuate. Bad weather interrupted projects. Economic downturns reduced opportunities. Income remained uncertain. Professional workers faced challenges as well, but their specialized skills often provided greater security. Customers needed lawyers regardless of weather. Merchants continued trading. Schoolmasters continued teaching. Physicians continued treating patients. Knowledge created resilience. That resilience represented one of the greatest advantages any Tudor occupation could offer. Still, some careers provided benefits extending beyond money and stability. They offered prestige. Status carried enormous importance within Tudor society. People understood where they stood within social hierarchies. Clothing, housing, education, and occupation all communicated position. Certain professions naturally attracted greater respect. Lawyers, physicians, senior clergy, government officials, successful merchants. These individuals often enjoyed influence extending beyond their immediate work. Neighbors sought their advice. Local leaders valued their opinions. Communities recognized their accomplishments. For ambitious people, such recognition could be deeply satisfying. And because status often created new opportunities, professional success frequently reinforced itself. A respected lawyer attracted better clients. A respected physician gained additional patients. A respected merchant secured valuable partnerships. Reputation became a powerful asset. Yet even among these privileged occupations, few opportunities generated as much excitement as those connected to England's expanding presence overseas. Stories circulated constantly. New markets, new trade routes, new ventures, potential fortunes. The wider world seemed filled with possibilities. Some merchants began investing in increasingly ambitious enterprises. Some sailors pursued longer voyages. Some officials encouraged exploration. Nobody could know exactly where these developments would lead, but many sensed that England stood on the edge of significant change. And for those positioned correctly, that change promised rewards greater than anything previous generations had known. The challenge was recognizing which opportunities were genuine and which were merely dreams whispered across crowded taverns and busy docks. Because in Tudor England, the distance between fortune and disaster could sometimes be measured by a single voyage. Because in Tudor England, the distance between fortune and disaster could sometimes be measured by a single voyage. A merchant might spend years building capital, carefully expanding his business and cultivating trusted relationships. Then one ship could vanish into a storm. A sailor might leave port with hopes of prosperity and never return. A trading venture that appeared certain to succeed could collapse because of war, piracy, disease, or simple misfortune. Yet despite these dangers, people continued pursuing opportunity. That willingness to accept risk tells us something important about Tudor England. The kingdom was changing. Economic life was becoming more dynamic than it had been during earlier centuries. People increasingly recognized that wealth could be created, not merely inherited. For many ambitious individuals, this realization opened entirely new possibilities. One occupation that benefited enormously from these changes was banking and money handling, though not in the modern sense. England did not possess banks exactly as we know them today, but financial services certainly existed. Merchants required credit. Large transactions required financing. Loans helped support commercial activity. Individuals skilled in managing money, extending credit, and facilitating transactions occupied increasingly valuable positions. Trust was essential. A reputation for honesty could become one of a person's greatest assets. Business depended upon confidence. People needed assurance that agreements would be honored and debts repaid. Those who successfully built such reputations often enjoyed prosperous careers. In many ways, trust functioned as a form of currency. And in a world where written contracts were becoming more common, professional reliability could produce long-term rewards. Meanwhile, England's growing towns continued creating opportunities for skilled trades. One particularly respected occupation was that of the goldsmith. Goldsmiths worked with precious metals, producing jewelry, decorative objects, and valuable household items. Their craft required extraordinary precision. Materials were expensive. Customers expected excellence. Mistakes could be financially disastrous. Yet successful goldsmiths often prospered. Wealthy clients sought beautiful objects that displayed status and refinement. Demand existed among nobles, merchants, church institutions, and prosperous professionals. The profession combined artistry, technical expertise, and business management. For individuals possessing patience and attention to detail, it represented one of the most desirable skilled trades in Tudor England. Closely related to this world of craftsmanship was the occupation of armor. Although the nature of warfare was evolving during the Tudor period, armor remained important for many decades. Producing high-quality armor required considerable expertise. Measurements had to be accurate. Materials needed proper preparation. Construction demanded precision. A master armorer served clients who expected both functionality and appearance. The profession carried prestige because its products were associated with wealth, military service, and noble status. Like many highly skilled trades, armor making rewarded expertise developed through years of training. Another occupation benefiting from specialized knowledge was shipbuilding. As England's maritime interests expanded, demand for ships increased. Merchant vessels transported goods. Fishing boats supported coastal economies. Naval ships strengthened royal power. Shipbuilders occupied crucial positions within this growing industry. Constructing a ship required extensive knowledge of timber, design, engineering, and labor management. Projects involved large investments. Mistakes could prove costly. Successful shipbuilders therefore enjoyed considerable respect. For modern people fascinated by engineering and large-scale construction, the profession would likely seem remarkably appealing. Imagine standing beside a partially completed vessel. The smell of fresh timber fills the air. Workers move across scaffolding. Tools strike wood in steady rhythms. Piece by piece, the structure takes shape. Eventually, it will carry cargo, passengers, or sailors across distant waters. Such work connected local craftsmanship to international commerce. And as England looked increasingly outward, that connection became more valuable. Not every desirable occupation involved wealth or influence. Some offered something equally important: relative security. In Tudor England, security could never be taken entirely for granted. Disease remained a threat. Economic conditions changed. Political developments affected livelihoods. Even so, certain professions provided greater stability than others. One example was the occupation of parish clerk. Though not glamorous, the role carried important responsibilities. Parish records needed maintenance. Administrative tasks required attention. Church services demanded organization. The position often provided consistent employment within a local community. For many individuals, stability itself represented a major advantage. Knowing where income would come from next month or next year was far from guaranteed in the 16th century. This helps explain why professional occupations attracted admiration. Specialized skills created predictability. Predictability created comfort. Comfort improved quality of life. Another profession offering stability was that of schoolmaster. Education remained highly valued among those who could access it. Parents invested in their children's learning because they understood its potential benefits. Schools required teachers. Communities required educated individuals. As literacy expanded, demand for instruction increased. Schoolmasters often occupied respected positions within society. Their work shaped future generations. Their knowledge distinguished them from many contemporaries. And while teaching rarely produced immense wealth, it could provide a meaningful and stable career. The profession also offered something difficult to measure: intellectual engagement. Daily life involved books, language, and ideas rather than repetitive physical labor. For many modern people, that distinction alone would make the occupation attractive. At the same time, England's legal system continued generating opportunities for trained professionals. The growth of commerce created more contracts. Property ownership generated disputes. Inheritance questions required resolution. As a result, legal expertise remained valuable. Some lawyers achieved remarkable success. Their services attracted wealthy clients. Their influence extended into local government and administration. Many eventually accumulated substantial property holdings. Indeed, law represented one of the clearest examples of education translating directly into prosperity. The years spent studying and training could produce rewards lasting an entire lifetime. And yet, despite all these opportunities, most people in Tudor England would never become lawyers, merchants, scholars, or royal officials. The majority still lived ordinary lives shaped by practical concerns: food, work, family, community. This reality is important to remember. When discussing the best jobs in Tudor England, we are often describing exceptions rather than typical experiences. Most people did not enjoy unusual opportunities. Most people worked hard. Many faced uncertainty. The occupations that seem desirable today stand out precisely because they offered advantages unavailable to the majority. Perhaps that is what makes them so fascinating. They reveal pathways through Tudor society, routes by which individuals could achieve greater comfort, security, or influence. Some paths required education. Some required skill. Some required courage. Some required luck. Often they required all four. And among all the careers we have explored so far, few depended more heavily upon a combination of talent, connections, timing, and fortune than those found at the very highest levels of government. There, close to the monarch and the machinery of state, a small number of individuals enjoyed opportunities that could elevate them from relative obscurity to national prominence. Yet those same positions carried dangers unlike any faced by merchants, craftsmen, or teachers. Because the closer one stood to power in Tudor England, the more dangerous power itself could become. Because the closer one stood to power in Tudor England, the more dangerous power itself could become. For many ambitious people, the royal court represented the ultimate destination. It was the place where decisions were made, favors granted, appointments awarded, and fortunes transformed. A talented merchant might become wealthy. A successful lawyer might become respected. A skilled physician might attract important clients. But service, near the monarch, offered something different. Influence. The possibility of helping shape events that affected an entire kingdom. Yet Tudor history repeatedly demonstrates that influence carried risks. Court politics could be unpredictable. Alliances shifted. Personal rivalries emerged. Policies changed. A person enjoying royal favor one year might find himself facing serious difficulties the next. Despite these dangers, competition for court positions remained intense. The rewards were simply too attractive to ignore. Among the most desirable roles were those connected to royal administration. Secretaries, advisors, financial officers, and diplomatic representatives often gained access to information unavailable elsewhere. They participated in discussions that determined policy. They managed important correspondence. They helped organize the daily operations of government. For educated individuals, these positions represented extraordinary opportunities. Success could bring wealth, property, honors, and lasting influence. A capable administrator might begin his career performing routine clerical tasks. Over time, he could attract the attention of powerful patrons. Additional responsibilities followed. Promotions followed. Eventually, he might find himself advising senior officials or participating directly in government affairs. Such advancement required intelligence and discipline. It also required caution. The Tudor court rewarded competence, but it demanded loyalty. A mistake could prove costly. A political miscalculation could have serious consequences. Nevertheless, for ambitious people willing to navigate these complexities, government service remained one of the most attractive careers available. Meanwhile, away from court, England's economy continued evolving. The growth of trade created opportunities not only for merchants, but also for those supporting commercial activity. One increasingly important profession was bookkeeping. Modern accounting systems were still developing, yet merchants and institutions required accurate financial records. Goods moved through complex networks. Payments needed tracking. Debts required documentation. A skilled bookkeeper helped ensure that businesses functioned efficiently. Although the work lacked the excitement of overseas voyages, it offered something many people valued more: reliability. Commerce depended upon organization. As economic activity expanded, individuals capable of maintaining accurate records became increasingly valuable. This pattern appears repeatedly throughout Tudor society. Specialized knowledge created demand. Demand created opportunity. Opportunity improved living standards. Another profession benefiting from expanding commerce was warehouse management. Imported goods needed storage. Exports required preparation. Inventories had to be monitored. Security remained important. A trusted manager overseeing valuable merchandise occupied a significant position within commercial networks. The role demanded practical judgment and organizational skill. For someone who enjoyed structure and responsibility, it could be surprisingly rewarding. At the same time, England's ports supported an entire ecosystem of occupations connected to maritime trade. Harbor officials inspected cargoes. Customs officers collected duties. Ship suppliers provided provisions. Brokers arranged transactions. Every vessel entering or leaving port generated economic activity. The most successful individuals within these systems often built comfortable lives. They benefited from commerce without necessarily facing the physical dangers of long sea voyages. For many, this balance proved highly attractive. They enjoyed the advantages of trade while remaining close to home. Elsewhere, another profession continued attracting ambitious young men: the military officer. Now, military service in Tudor England differed significantly from later professional armies. Many soldiers served temporarily. Campaigns were often limited in duration. Conditions could be harsh. Yet officers sometimes enjoyed opportunities for advancement, prestige, and royal favor. Leadership abilities mattered. Experience mattered. Connections mattered. Successful military careers occasionally led to administrative appointments or positions at court. For some individuals, military service functioned as a pathway toward broader opportunities. Still, compared with law, commerce, education, or administration, the profession carried greater uncertainty. Conflict always involves risk. This helps explain why many of the most desirable Tudor careers were those that minimized physical danger while maximizing economic security. Medicine offers another excellent example. A respected physician often enjoyed a lifestyle unavailable to most contemporaries. His clients included prosperous families. His education distinguished him socially. His expertise commanded compensation. Unlike laborers whose income depended upon physical endurance, physicians earned livelihoods through knowledge. This distinction mattered enormously. Physical labor becomes increasingly difficult with age. Knowledge often becomes more valuable. Experienced professionals accumulated reputations that enhanced their careers over time. The same principle applied to legal experts, senior administrators, and scholars. Their greatest asset traveled with them. It existed within their minds. And because education remained relatively rare, such expertise carried substantial value. Another attractive occupation connected to learning was translation and language instruction. As England engaged more actively with continental Europe, knowledge of foreign languages became useful. Diplomats required translators. Merchants benefited from multilingual communication. Scholars studied texts written in Latin and other languages. Individuals possessing these skills occupied specialized niches within society. Their expertise was not common, and uncommon skills often generated opportunity. By now, a pattern should be emerging. The best jobs in Tudor England generally shared several characteristics. They provided greater stability than agricultural labor. They relied upon specialized training. They offered opportunities for advancement. And they frequently connected individuals to broader networks of influence, commerce, or knowledge. Whether one became a lawyer, merchant, physician, schoolmaster, printer, steward, or government official, the underlying advantages remained similar. Skill created value. Value created security. Security improved life. Yet among all these professions, perhaps the most important advantage was not wealth itself. It was choice. Most Tudor subjects possessed limited control over their circumstances. Opportunities were constrained by family background, geography, and economic conditions. The occupations we have explored often expanded those possibilities. Education opened doors. Trade created mobility. Professional expertise increased independence. These benefits might seem ordinary today. In 16th century England, they could be transformative. A talented apprentice might become a master craftsman. A scholar might become an advisor. A merchant's son might receive a university education. Such outcomes were not guaranteed, but they were possible. And possibility has always been one of the most powerful attractions any society can offer. As the Tudor period progressed, these opportunities continued evolving. Religious changes altered institutions. Economic growth reshaped communities. International connections expanded. New professions emerged while older occupations adapted. England itself was gradually becoming a different place. a place where knowledge, commerce, and professional skill increasingly influence success. And nowhere would this transformation become more visible than in the bustling towns and cities that served as engines of change throughout the kingdom. Places where ambitious people gathered, opportunities multiplied, and the future often arrived earlier than anyone expected. Places where ambitious people gathered, opportunities multiplied, and the future often arrived earlier than anyone expected. To understand the best jobs in Tudor England, it helps to spend a quiet evening walking through one of its growing towns. Imagine the sun sinking behind timber-framed buildings. Shadows stretch across narrow streets. Shop signs sway gently above doorways. The smell of bread drifts from a baker's oven. Somewhere nearby, a blacksmith's hammer strikes metal. Merchants close their ledgers. Apprentices sweep workshop floors. Church bells echo through the cooling air. Unlike isolated villages, towns concentrated opportunity. People with specialized skills could find customers more easily. Trade connected local economies to distant markets. Information moved more quickly. New ideas spread more readily. For many ambitious Tudors, urban life offered advantages unavailable elsewhere. One of the most successful occupations within towns was that of the merchant retailer. These individuals occupied an important middle ground between producers and consumers. They purchased goods, managed inventories, set prices, built customer relationships. Success depended upon judgment and reputation. A respected merchant retailer often became a prominent figure within the community. Regular customers trusted him. Suppliers valued him. Local officials knew him. Over time, successful businesses could provide substantial prosperity. The profession rewarded patience and consistency rather than dramatic risks. For many people, that balance was highly appealing. Nearby, another skilled professional might be ending his day's work. The stationer. Books, paper, ink, and writing materials became increasingly important as literacy expanded. The schools, churches, government offices, lawyers, merchants, and scholars all required supplies. The stationer occupied a fascinating position within the growing information economy. He sold materials that enabled education, commerce, administration, and communication. His customers often included some of the most educated people in town. As demand for written documents increased, the profession became more valuable. It represented another example of how literacy was reshaping Tudor society. Knowledge generated opportunity not only for scholars, but also for those supporting scholarly and administrative work. Close by, perhaps, a prosperous bookseller arranged volumes on wooden shelves. Books remained expensive by modern standards, yet printing had made them far more accessible than in previous centuries. Religious texts, classical works, educational materials, legal references, each reflected a growing appetite for information. A bookseller participated directly in this expanding intellectual world. For anyone who loves reading today, it is difficult not to admire the profession. Imagine spending your days surrounded by books in an age when every volume carried tremendous value. The atmosphere would have felt both commercial and scholarly. Ideas moved through the shop alongside customers. And as England's literacy rates gradually improved, the importance of such businesses continued growing. Not all attractive urban occupations involved education. Some relied upon practical expertise. Consider the master baker. Bread formed a fundamental part of many diets. Demand remained constant. Every community required reliable food production. A successful baker who maintained quality and consistency could build a stable and respectable business. The work began early, often very early. Long before sunrise, ovens needed preparation. Dough required mixing. Production schedules demanded attention. Yet customers arrived every day. Unlike luxury trades dependent upon wealthy clients, bakers served broad segments of society. Their businesses occupied essential positions within local economies. The same could be said for butchers. Food distribution represented a critical function in every town. Skilled butchers supplied meat while navigating regulations, market conditions, and customer expectations. Success required practical knowledge and careful management. Those who mastered the profession often achieved comfortable livelihoods. Again, we see a recurring theme. The best occupations frequently involved providing services people genuinely needed. Food, education, medicine, law, transportation, administration. Demand for these services remained relatively stable. Stability, in turn, supported economic security. Meanwhile, one of the most respected urban professions remained pharmacy and medicine. The apothecary shop often contained a remarkable collection of ingredients: dried herbs, minerals, oils, imported substances, prepared remedies. To modernize, some treatments would appear strange. Medical understanding differed significantly from contemporary science. Even so, apothecaries performed valuable roles within their communities. Their knowledge set them apart. Customers relied upon their expertise. Successful practitioners often enjoyed both financial stability and social respect. Nearby, physicians and surgeons served clients requiring more specialized care. Together, these professions formed an important part of urban life. For educated individuals, medicine remained among the most attractive career paths available. Yet perhaps no urban profession demonstrates Tudor opportunity better than that of the successful printer. A print shop was a place of remarkable energy. Workers arranged type. Presses operated. Pages dried. Proofs were corrected. Books and pamphlets gradually emerged from countless hours of labor. The profession connected commerce, technology, education, religion, and politics. Few occupations sat at such a fascinating crossroads. Printers helped spread information across England. Their work influenced how people learned, worshipped, and communicated. The business required investment and skill. Yet successful printers occupied uniquely important positions within Tudor society. As literacy expanded, demand for printed materials increased. The profession stood at the forefront of significant historical change. Another increasingly valuable occupation involved map-making. Although still a specialized field, geographic knowledge became more important as trade, exploration, and administration expanded. Maps assisted merchants, supported navigation, helped manage estates, informed government decisions. A skilled mapmaker combined artistry, mathematics, observation, and practical knowledge. The work demanded precision. Mistakes could have serious consequences. Yet for those possessing the necessary expertise, it offered opportunities unavailable to most people. This reflects a broader truth about Tudor employment. Scarcity increased value. The fewer people who possessed a particular skill, the more rewarding that skill often became. Languages, law, medicine, navigation, surveying, accounting, printing, each required training that relatively few individuals acquired. As a result, practitioners enjoyed advantages that extended beyond simple income. They gained influence, respect, professional networks, opportunities for advancement, and perhaps most importantly, they gained flexibility. If conditions changed in one location, a skilled professional could often relocate. A merchant might move to another town. A teacher might seek a new position. A lawyer could attract clients elsewhere. Mobility remained limited compared with modern standards, but professional skills expanded options. This mattered enormously in a world where many people spent their entire lives tied to specific communities. Yet, even the most successful town professionals sometimes looked toward the capital with curiosity. Because no place in Tudor England concentrated opportunity quite like London. There, wealth flowed through markets. Government operated at unprecedented scale. Merchants connected England to the wider world. Ideas circulated rapidly. Careers advanced quickly, or collapsed just as fast. For ambitious individuals seeking the very best jobs the kingdom could offer, London often seemed like the center of everything. And for many of them, that perception was not far from the truth. To a visitor arriving from a rural village, Tudor London could feel almost overwhelming. The city was unlike anything most English people would ever experience. Its streets bustled with activity. Boats crowded the river. Markets overflowed with goods. Church bells rang throughout the day. Merchants hurried between appointments. Laborers unloaded cargo. Officials carried documents between offices. Everywhere there seemed to be movement. Everywhere there seemed to be opportunity. London was not merely England's largest city. It was the kingdom's commercial, political, and administrative heart. If someone wished to build an ambitious career, there were few better places to begin. For merchants, London offered advantages that smaller towns could not match. Foreign traders arrived regularly. Imported goods entered through its ports. Financial transactions occurred on a larger scale. Business networks stretched across Europe and beyond. A successful London merchant might deal in cloth, spices, wine, metals, luxury goods, or countless other products. The volume of trade passing through the city created possibilities unavailable elsewhere. Some merchants accumulated remarkable fortunes. Their houses reflected wealth. Their families gained influence. Their names became known far beyond their local neighborhoods. Many eventually purchased land, entered civic leadership, or secured advantageous marriages for their children. Commerce provided not only income but social advancement. Another profession flourishing in London was law. The city contained important courts, legal institutions, and administrative offices. Disputes involving property, inheritance, commerce, and government required expert guidance. As England's economy became more sophisticated, legal work expanded. A talented lawyer operating in London enjoyed access to a vast client base. Merchants required contracts. Landowners needed representation. Government officials sought advice. The demand for legal expertise remained strong. Successful lawyers often built influential careers that extended into politics and administration. For ambitious students pursuing education, the profession offered one of the clearest routes toward prosperity and respect. Nearby, clerks and administrators worked within the growing machinery of government. Records had to be maintained, taxes collected, policies communicated, correspondence organized. The Tudor state depended increasingly upon literate professionals capable of handling complex administrative tasks. While these positions rarely attracted the romantic attention associated with explorers or soldiers, they provided something many people valued more: consistency. A government administrator with proven ability often enjoyed steady employment and opportunities for advancement. The profession rewarded diligence, accuracy, and reliability. These qualities may not sound dramatic, yet they frequently produce successful careers. The same could be said for many of London's financial occupations. As commercial activity expanded, merchants required accounting services, credit arrangements, and transaction management. Individuals possessing strong numerical skills found increasing demand for their expertise. Bookkeepers, financial agents, and commercial administrators became important components of urban economic life. Again, specialized knowledge created value. The pattern appeared everywhere. Perhaps nowhere was London's energy more visible than in its markets. Imagine walking through a busy trading district during the middle of the day. Voices overlap from every direction. Goods from distant regions sit beside locally produced items. Cloth merchants display fabrics. Fishmongers advertise fresh catches. Booksellers arrange volumes. Apothecaries prepare remedies. The city functions as a giant network of exchanges. Every transaction supports another. Every profession connects to countless others. Within this environment, skilled shopkeepers often prospered. A well-run business could attract loyal customers and generate reliable income. Location mattered. Reputation mattered. Customer relationships mattered. The most successful shopkeepers understood not only their products but their communities. They recognized preferences, anticipated demand, adapted to changing circumstances. For many, this combination of independence and stability proved highly attractive. Meanwhile, another group occupied particularly respected positions within urban society: master craftsmen. Whether working as goldsmiths, printers, tailors, builders, or other specialists, master craftsmen represented the highest levels of professional expertise within their trades. Their workshops often employed apprentices and journeymen. Their products reflected years of experience. Customers sought them specifically because of their reputations. In many cases, these craftsmen achieved comfortable lifestyles and significant local influence. Success did not arrive overnight. Years of training preceded mastery. yet the rewards could justify the effort. Ownership of a successful workshop provided independence unavailable to many wage laborers. A master craftsman controlled his business, managed his projects, and shaped his professional future. That autonomy represented a valuable advantage in Tudor society. Not everyone in London pursued wealth directly. Some sought careers connected to learning and religion. The city contained schools, churches, and institutions requiring educated personnel. Teachers remained important. Clergy remained influential. Scholars continued contributing to intellectual life. These professions offered rewards that extended beyond financial considerations. They provided purpose, respect, opportunities to influence others. Many educated individuals found satisfaction in teaching, writing, preaching, or administration. For them, success involved more than income alone. And yet, even the most scholarly careers often depended upon practical realities. Patrons funded projects. Institutions required resources. Positions depended upon support. The Tudor world constantly balanced ideals and economics. This balance becomes especially clear when examining medicine. Physicians serving wealthy London clients could enjoy highly desirable careers. Their education distinguished them socially. Their expertise generated income. Their professional networks connected them to influential individuals. Some treated merchants. Others treated nobles. A few served members of the royal household. Such positions brought prestige, as well as opportunity. Still, medicine demanded continuous learning. Patients expected results. Competition existed. Reputation remained essential. A physician's success depended heavily upon public confidence. The same principle applied across many professions. Trust mattered, perhaps more than modern people sometimes realize. In a world lacking instant communication, personal reputation carried enormous weight. Word traveled through communities. Customers shared experiences. Patrons offered recommendations. A single reputation could support an entire career, or destroy one. Thus, honesty, reliability, and competence possessed real economic value. They were not merely moral qualities. They were professional assets. As London's population grew and its importance increased, these realities became even more pronounced. Opportunities expanded. Competition intensified. Rewards increased. Risks increased as well. The city offered possibilities unmatched elsewhere in England, but it demanded effort, skill, and adaptability. Those who succeeded often built lives that would have seemed astonishing to their grandparents. And as the Tudor era moved forward, London would continue attracting ambitious individuals from every corner of the kingdom. Some arrived seeking education. Some sought employment. Some pursued fortune. Some simply hoped for a better future. What united them was the belief that somewhere within the city's crowded streets existed an opportunity worth chasing. For many, they were right. Yet beyond London, beyond England itself, even larger possibilities were beginning to emerge. The wider world was opening. New trade routes were developing. New markets were appearing. New fortunes were waiting. And the occupations connected to these changes would soon become some of the most exciting and potentially rewarding careers the Tudor age had ever known. And the occupations connected to these changes would soon become some of the most exciting and potentially rewarding careers the Tudor age had ever known. As the 16th century progressed, England's view of the world began to widen. For centuries, most people's lives had remained tied to familiar landscapes. Fields, villages, market towns, parish churches. The rhythm of life followed local patterns that changed slowly from generation to generation. But now, news from distant places arrived with increasing frequency. Merchants spoke of foreign ports. Sailors described unfamiliar coastlines. Diplomats reported developments from continental courts. Maps became more detailed. Knowledge expanded. The horizon seemed to move farther away. For ambitious individuals, these developments created entirely new possibilities. One of the most attractive occupations emerging from this changing world was long-distance merchant trading. Unlike local commerce, International trade connected England to networks stretching across Europe and beyond. The profits could be substantial. So could the risks. Yet many merchants considered the gamble worthwhile. A successful overseas venture might earn more than years of ordinary business activity. This possibility attracted investors, traders, and entrepreneurs eager to improve their fortunes. Imagine a merchant preparing a shipment for export. Cloth is carefully packed. Records are checked. Payments are arranged. Correspondence is drafted for partners abroad. Every detail matters. A mistake could be expensive. A successful transaction could be transformative. The profession demanded patience, calculation, and resilience. Markets fluctuated. Political conditions changed. Transport remained uncertain. Yet for those who mastered the challenges, international trade offered opportunities unmatched by many traditional occupations. Closely connected to this expanding commercial world was navigation. Experienced navigators possessed highly specialized knowledge. They understood routes, weather patterns, coastal landmarks, methods of determining direction and position. In an era before modern technology, such expertise was invaluable. A skilled navigator occupied one of the most respected positions aboard a vessel. Captains depended upon accurate guidance. Merchants depended upon safe arrivals. Investors depended upon successful voyages. Navigation required both practical experience and intellectual ability. It combined observation, mathematics, memory, and judgment. For individuals fascinated by geography and exploration, it would likely rank among the most appealing careers available. Yet the sea offered opportunities beyond commerce alone. Fishing remained a major industry, supporting countless communities. While not every fishing occupation was comfortable, successful fishing enterprise owners sometimes built prosperous businesses. Demand for fish remained strong. Particularly during religious observances, fish consumption played an important role in many diets. Large-scale fishing operations required boats, crews, equipment, and organizational skill. Those capable of managing such enterprises often enjoyed respectable incomes. Again, we see how management and ownership frequently created advantages beyond ordinary labor. The same principle applied in another surprising profession: mining. England possessed valuable mineral resources, including tin, lead, coal, and other materials. Mining itself could be dangerous and physically demanding. However, individuals who owned mining interests or managed operations sometimes achieved considerable success. Mineral production supported both domestic industries and trade. As economic activity expanded, demand for raw materials increased. This created opportunities not only for miners but also for investors, administrators, and merchants connected to the industry. Throughout Tudor England, some of the best jobs emerged not from performing the labor directly, but from organizing, financing, or managing it. This distinction becomes increasingly noticeable as we examine prosperous occupations. Ownership mattered. Expertise mattered. Leadership mattered. Another profession illustrating this pattern was large-scale farming management. While many farmers worked modest holdings, some supervised extensive agricultural operations. These individuals coordinated labor, monitored production, managed livestock, and participated actively in commercial markets. Agriculture remained the foundation of the English economy. Food production affected everyone. A capable agricultural manager could therefore achieve both stability and prosperity. His work required practical knowledge rather than formal education. Yet it still involved specialized expertise developed through years of experience. In many ways, successful estate agriculture resembled modern business management more than people often imagine. Planning mattered. Efficiency mattered. Record-keeping mattered. Decision-making mattered. The scale may have been smaller than contemporary corporations, but the underlying principles were surprisingly familiar. Meanwhile, Tudor England's growing appetite for luxury goods created opportunities for artisans producing high-quality products. Fine furniture makers, decorative craftsmen, and specialty manufacturers often served wealthy clients. Their work required exceptional skill. Customers expected excellence. The rewards reflected that expectation. A master craftsman producing luxury goods could enjoy considerable success if his reputation remained strong. Such occupations demonstrate another important feature of Tudor society. Quality commanded value. Mass production did not exist. Every object required human labor. Every improvement in craftsmanship carried significance. The best artisans distinguished themselves through precision, reliability, and artistry. Their names became associated with excellence. This reputation attracted clients willing to pay premium prices. Elsewhere, individuals involved in construction continued benefiting from England's changing economy. The Tudor period witnessed substantial building activity, new homes, expanded estates, commercial properties, infrastructure projects. Each required labor and expertise. Master builders, architects, surveyors, and skilled supervisors often enjoyed steady demand for their services. Construction projects represented major investments. Clients therefore valued competence highly. A successful builder's reputation could sustain years of profitable work. And because visible buildings remained standing long after completion, quality workmanship often generated additional opportunities. People noticed success. They talked about it. Recommendations spread. Reputation became advertising. As evenings settled across England, these various occupations reveal something fascinating about Tudor opportunity. The best jobs rarely depended upon a single advantage. Instead, they combined several: knowledge and trust, skill and reputation, experience and connections. A prosperous merchant relied upon relationships and judgment. A physician relied upon education and public confidence. A master craftsman relied upon expertise and quality. A government official relied upon literacy and reliability. Success emerged from combinations rather than isolated talents. This reality remains surprisingly modern. The tools have changed. The technologies have changed. The economy has changed. Yet many principles remain recognizable. People valued competence. They valued trustworthiness. They valued specialized knowledge. And those qualities often produced better opportunities. Still, there existed one advantage even more powerful than skill alone: access. Access to influential networks. Access to wealthy patrons. Access to information. Access to opportunity before others recognized it. Throughout Tudor England, some careers provided extraordinary access to exactly these resources. And individuals who understood how to use that access sometimes transformed modest beginnings into remarkable success stories remembered long after their own lifetimes had ended. And individuals who understood how to use that access sometimes transformed modest beginnings into remarkable success stories remembered long after their own lifetimes had ended. In Tudor England, access often mattered almost as much as ability. A talented person living in an isolated village might never encounter the opportunities available to someone of equal talent in London, Oxford, Cambridge, or a major market town. Geography shaped possibilities. So did relationships. So did timing. This reality explains why many of the most desirable careers depended upon networks of people as much as professional skills. Consider the role of a household secretary serving a noble family. At first glance, the occupation might appear ordinary. Letters must be written, records maintained, appointments organized, correspondence managed. Yet behind these routine duties stood a remarkable advantage: information. The secretary occupied a position close to decision-makers. He handled communications, observed negotiations, learned developments before they became public knowledge. In an age where information traveled slowly, such access carried immense value. A capable secretary could build connections extending throughout government, commerce, religion, and local administration. Many eventually advanced into more influential positions. The occupation therefore functioned as a pathway rather than merely a destination. The same was true for tutors employed by wealthy households. Education remained highly prized among prosperous families. Parents wanted their children prepared for university, church careers, law, government service, and estate management. As a result, talented tutors could find respectable employment within elite households. The profession offered more than income. It provided proximity to influential circles. A tutor might educate future government officials, merchants, clergy, or landowners. Relationships formed during these years sometimes benefited both teacher and student for decades. For modern people, the profession might seem surprisingly attractive. The work involved learning, teaching, reading, and conversation rather than physical labor. It rewarded intelligence. It offered relative comfort. And it frequently connected capable individuals to powerful networks. Nearby, another profession enjoyed similar advantages: estate surveying. As land became increasingly important for wealth generation, accurate surveys grew more valuable. Owners wanted reliable information about boundaries, resources, and productivity. Surveyors combined practical fieldwork with technical knowledge. They traveled, observed, measured, recorded, prepared detailed reports. Their expertise supported legal transactions, agricultural planning, taxation, and estate management. Because large properties often belonged to influential individuals, surveyors frequently interacted with wealthy clients. A strong reputation could generate steady work across entire regions. And since relatively few people possessed the necessary skills, demand often remained strong. Another occupation benefiting from expanding literacy was publishing. The printing industry continued developing throughout the Tudor period. Books, pamphlets, official documents, educational materials, and religious texts all required production and distribution. Individuals involved in publishing occupied important positions within England's growing information economy. The work could be intellectually stimulating. New ideas passed constantly through their hands. Religious debates, political discussions, educational reforms, literary works. The profession combined commerce with culture in fascinating ways. Of course, it also required caution. The Tudor state monitored printed material carefully. Religious and political controversies carried genuine risks. Yet despite these challenges, publishing remained one of the most dynamic occupations of the era. Meanwhile, England's ports continued attracting ambitious individuals seeking careers connected to trade. Among the most respected were customs officials. Every cargo entering or leaving major ports generated paperwork, duties, inspections, and records. Customs officers played crucial roles within the system. Their responsibilities demanded literacy, numeracy, and organizational skill. The position often provided stable employment and opportunities for advancement. Because international commerce continued expanding, customs administration became increasingly important. The profession demonstrates another recurring pattern. As the economy grew more complex, administrative expertise became more valuable. Not every attractive career involved wealth on a grand scale. Some simply offered dignity, security, and independence. One excellent example was the successful innkeeper operating in a prosperous location. Travelers required food, lodging, and services. Merchants needed places to conduct business. Officials needed accommodations during journeys. A well-managed inn could become a central gathering place within a community. News arrived there first. Business discussions occurred there. Local events were debated there. The innkeeper occupied a position at the intersection of commerce and communication. For someone who enjoyed managing people and operations, the profession could be deeply rewarding. It also offered a degree of independence unavailable to many wage earners. Ownership created flexibility. Success depended largely upon personal effort and reputation. The same principle applied to many desirable Tudor occupations. The more control individuals exercised over their work, the greater their opportunities tended to become. This helps explain the appeal of professional practice. A lawyer controlled his client relationships. A physician managed his practice. A merchant directed his business. A craftsman operated his workshop. Such independence represented a valuable form of security. While no occupation was completely free from risk, professional autonomy reduced dependence upon external circumstances. And in Tudor England, reducing uncertainty was often just as important as increasing wealth. Another highly respected profession was that of steward to a great household. Large estates functioned almost like small economic systems. Resources flowed constantly through them. Food supplies required coordination. Labor had to be supervised. Financial accounts demanded attention. Property needed maintenance. The steward managed much of this complexity. The role required leadership, literacy, judgment, and trustworthiness. Successful stewards often enjoyed considerable authority. They acted on behalf of powerful employers and influenced important decisions. For ambitious individuals with administrative talent, the profession offered prestige as well as stability. As the years passed, England's social and economic landscape continued evolving. Markets expanded. Education spread. Government administration grew. Professional specialization increased. The best jobs increasingly rewarded expertise rather than brute strength. This transition was gradual. Agriculture remained dominant. Manual labor remained essential. Yet opportunities connected to knowledge continued multiplying. Perhaps nowhere is this more visible than in the careers pursued by university graduates. A university education represented a significant investment. Families hoped it would produce meaningful returns. Frequently, it did. Graduates entered law, medicine, education, church administration, diplomacy, and government service. Their training distinguished them from much of the population. The degree itself carried prestige. More importantly, it opened doors. Knowledge became opportunity. Opportunity became influence. Influence became security. This sequence appeared repeatedly throughout Tudor society. Yet even the most educated professional could not entirely escape one powerful force shaping every career. Change. Religious change. Economic change. Political change. Technological change. The Tudor era was not a static world. It was a period of transformation. Occupations adapted. Institutions evolved. New opportunities emerged while old certainties faded. Those who recognized these shifts early often benefited the most. And among all the transformations occurring across England, few would prove more significant than the continuing growth of commerce. Because as trade expanded, entirely new possibilities appeared for people willing to think beyond traditional expectations. Possibilities that would gradually reshape not only individual careers, but the future direction of England itself. Possibilities that would gradually reshape not only individual careers, but the future direction of England itself. The more closely we examine Tudor England, the clearer one fact becomes. The most desirable jobs were often found wherever change was happening, and few forces transformed 16th century England more powerfully than commerce. For generations, wealth had flowed primarily from land. Large estates produced crops, generated rents, and supported noble families. Land remained important throughout the Tudor period, but commerce increasingly offered alternative routes to prosperity. A person no longer needed noble ancestry to achieve financial success. Skill, education, business judgment, and determination could sometimes accomplish what birth alone could not. This shift did not happen overnight. It unfolded slowly across decades. Yet by the later Tudor years, its effects were becoming impossible to ignore. One profession benefiting enormously from these developments was that of the commercial agent. Merchants conducting business across multiple regions often required trusted representatives. These agents negotiated transactions, monitored markets, arranged shipments, and maintained relationships. Trust remained essential. The merchant might be hundreds of miles away. His representative needed authority to make important decisions. A capable commercial agent therefore occupied a position of considerable responsibility. The work demanded intelligence, communication skills, and practical experience. For ambitious individuals, it offered opportunities to participate in large-scale commerce without necessarily owning major enterprises themselves. Closely related was the occupation of factor. A factor managed commercial operations on behalf of merchants or investors. He sold goods, purchased supplies, collected payments, gathered information. The profession required adaptability and judgment. Success depended upon understanding markets and people alike. Many factors traveled extensively, building networks across regions and countries. For those who enjoyed commerce and negotiation, the role could be both profitable and intellectually engaging. The growing complexity of trade also increased demand for shipping coordinators and commercial organizers. Goods did not move themselves. Someone had to arrange transport, secure storage, schedule deliveries, and solve logistical problems. These responsibilities may sound modern, yet they existed in recognizable forms throughout Tudor England. Every successful commercial system depended upon organization. Those who provided it often found steady employment and respectable incomes. Meanwhile, in England's towns, prosperous craftsmen continued demonstrating the value of expertise. A master joiner, for example, produced furniture, fittings, and interior woodwork. His products served both practical and decorative purposes. Quality mattered enormously. Customers wanted durable and attractive work. A reputation for excellence could sustain an entire career. Years of apprenticeship preceded mastery, but successful craftsmen frequently enjoyed independence and community respect. The same was true for master glaziers. Glass remained a valuable material. Churches, wealthy homes, and public buildings all required skilled craftsmanship. Creating and installing windows demanded specialized knowledge. Mistakes could be costly. Competence therefore commanded premium prices. As England grew wealthier, demand for such services often increased. People invested in improving homes and buildings. Artisans capable of meeting those expectations benefited accordingly. Another fascinating occupation was instrument making. Navigation, surveying, astronomy, and other disciplines required tools. Skilled makers produced compasses, measuring devices, and scientific instruments. Though the profession remained relatively specialized, it illustrates the growing importance of technical knowledge during the Tudor period. Demand existed because education, exploration, and administration were expanding. New needs created new opportunities. And wherever opportunities appeared, ambitious individuals followed. One particularly attractive profession for educated people remained diplomacy. Diplomats occupied unique positions within Tudor society. They traveled abroad, negotiated agreements, observed foreign developments, reported information to English authorities. The role demanded intelligence, discretion, and cultural awareness. A successful diplomat might spend years interacting with influential figures across Europe. Such experiences were extraordinary by the standards of the time. Few people encountered foreign courts. Few participated directly in international affairs. For those who did, the profession offered both prestige and excitement. It also provided access to information that could influence major decisions. Yet diplomacy, like many high-level careers, depended heavily upon trust. Governments needed representatives capable of acting responsibly. Reputation remained critical. A diplomat's effectiveness relied upon credibility. The same principle applied to another respected profession, financial administration. As government expanded, managing public finances became increasingly important. Taxes needed collection. Accounts required verification. Expenditures demanded oversight. Officials responsible for these tasks occupied significant positions within the Tudor state. Their work affected military preparedness, infrastructure, administration, and countless other functions. Although the profession lacked glamour, it offered stability and influence. Successful administrators often built long careers within government service. The importance of administration cannot be overstated. Many of the best Tudor jobs involved making complex systems function effectively. Whether managing estates, overseeing finances, organizing trade, or administering institutions, these professionals created order from complexity. Their expertise allowed larger organizations to operate successfully. And because such skills were relatively rare, they were highly valued. Meanwhile, England's educational institutions continued producing graduates eager to pursue professional careers. Teaching remained important. Scholarship remained respected. Church administration remained influential. The spread of literacy created opportunities across multiple fields. Books became more common. Records became more extensive. Communication became increasingly dependent upon written materials. Individuals capable of reading, writing, and managing information enjoyed significant advantages. This reality transformed countless lives. A bright student from a modest background might obtain education, enter a profession, and achieve opportunities unimaginable to previous generations. Such cases remained exceptions rather than the rule. yet they occurred often enough to inspire ambition. Families noticed. Communities noticed. The possibility of advancement encouraged investment in learning. And as education expanded, the demand for educated professionals grew as well. Perhaps the most striking aspect of Tudor employment is how familiar many of its patterns seem today. People sought stability. They pursued meaningful work. They valued expertise. They built networks. They adapted to changing economic conditions. The technologies differ dramatically from modern life, but many human motivations remain recognizable. A merchant worried about competition. A physician sought loyal clients. A teacher hoped to guide students successfully. A craftsman worked to maintain quality and reputation. Across 4 centuries, those concerns remain surprisingly understandable. As twilight settles across Tudor England, one can almost imagine the countless professionals finishing their day's work. A lawyer closes a ledger. A merchant reviews accounts. A printer examines fresh pages, drying beside the press. A physician prepares for tomorrow's patients. And estate steward checks records before retiring for the evening. Their occupations differ, yet all share a common advantage. They have acquired skills that society values. Those skills provide opportunity. Those opportunities create comfort, influence, or security. And in a world where uncertainty remains constant, such advantages are precious indeed. Yet the story of Tudor opportunity is not finished. Because some of the most desirable careers emerged not from old traditions, but from entirely new developments that were beginning to reshape England's future in ways few people could fully anticipate. Because some of the most desirable careers emerged not from old traditions, but from entirely new developments that were beginning to reshape England's future in ways few people could fully anticipate. If you could stand quietly in a Tudor marketplace during the final decades of the 16th century, you might notice something subtle. The kingdom still looked familiar. Farmers still worked fields. Craftsmen still labored in workshops. Merchants still bargained over prices. Church bells still marked the hours. Yet beneath these familiar rhythms, England was changing. The change was not always obvious day to day, but year by year, new opportunities appeared. Some occupations expanded. Others became more specialized. Knowledge grew more valuable. Trade reached farther. Administration became more complex. These developments rewarded people who adapted quickly. One profession benefiting greatly from this transformation was that of the commercial correspondent. Business increasingly depended upon written communication. Merchants needed information about prices, markets, shipping schedules, and political developments. Letters connected distant partners. Reliable correspondence supported successful commerce. Individuals skilled at gathering information and maintaining business communications occupied important positions within these networks. Their value came not from physical labor, but from their ability to manage information effectively. This may sound remarkably modern, and in many ways it was. Even in Tudor England, accurate information could create competitive advantages. Knowing market conditions before competitors often translated directly into profit. Another emerging opportunity involved insurance-like financial arrangements connected to maritime trade. While modern insurance systems had not yet fully developed, merchants increasingly sought ways to distribute risk. Ships carried valuable cargoes. Storms threatened investments. Commercial ventures required protection whenever possible. People capable of managing complex financial agreements found growing demand for their services. Again, we see commerce creating entirely new professional roles. As trade expanded, the economy required more specialists. Not everyone prospered through business. Some found success through technical expertise. Surveying provides an excellent example. The Tudor period witnessed growing interest in land measurement, mapping, and property management. Accurate surveys supported legal claims, estate administration, agricultural planning, and taxation. A skilled surveyor combined mathematics, observation, and practical field experience. The profession offered both mobility and respect. Clients ranged from landowners to institutions and government officials. Because expertise remained relatively uncommon, successful surveyors often enjoyed steady work. The same principle applied to architects and master designers. England's wealthy classes continued investing in impressive buildings. New manor houses reflected changing tastes and increasing prosperity. Construction projects required planning as well as labor. Design expertise, therefore, became increasingly valuable. A talented designer might influence projects lasting generations. The buildings themselves often became lasting demonstrations of professional skill. Meanwhile, another occupation flourished quietly within growing urban centers: the broker. A broker connected buyers and sellers, facilitated agreements, shared information, helped transactions proceed smoothly. The role required trust, communication, and market knowledge. Brokers benefited from expanding commerce without necessarily owning large inventories themselves. Their success depended upon relationships and reputation. For individuals skilled at negotiation, the profession could be highly rewarding, and reputation truly mattered, perhaps more than any other asset. A respected broker attracted clients. A respected merchant gained opportunities. A respected lawyer earned trust. A respected physician built a practice. Again and again, Tudor careers demonstrate the economic value of reliability. In an age when formal institutions were less developed than today, personal credibility often served as the foundation of professional success. This reality extended into government service as well. Administrators who consistently performed their duties effectively often advanced steadily. The Tudor state required competent individuals capable of managing increasingly complex responsibilities. Tax collection, record keeping, correspondence, legal administration, diplomatic communication, all depended upon skilled personnel. While these occupations lacked the romance associated with exploration or warfare, they frequently provided excellent careers, stable income, respectable status, opportunities for advancement. For many people, these advantages were more valuable than excitement. The same was true within education. A successful schoolmaster might never become wealthy on the scale of a great merchant. Yet he could enjoy stability, community respect, and intellectually engaging work. His profession contributed directly to the next generation. Students carried lessons into future careers. Knowledge passed forward. In this sense, teachers influenced society in ways extending far beyond immediate income. The Tudor world increasingly recognized the importance of education. This recognition created demand for qualified instructors. Another profession benefiting from literacy was archival administration. Governments, churches, legal institutions, and large estates all generated records. Documents required organization and preservation. Information needed retrieval. As paperwork expanded, individuals capable of managing records became increasingly useful. Though often overlooked by historians, such administrative roles helped make larger institutions function effectively. Without records, taxation became difficult. Property ownership became uncertain. Government operations became inefficient. The profession may have lacked public visibility, but its importance was undeniable. Meanwhile, England's growing involvement in international affairs created opportunities for interpreters and language specialists. Trade connected merchants to foreign partners. Diplomacy required communication across cultures. Scholarly work involved texts written in various languages. Individuals possessing linguistic expertise occupied valuable positions. Their skills opened doors unavailable to many contemporaries. In a society where most people never traveled far from home, the ability to communicate across national boundaries carried significant value. And while professionals pursued careers in towns and cities, prosperous agricultural managers continued demonstrating that rural life could also provide attractive opportunities. Not every desirable occupation required urban living. Well-managed estates generated substantial wealth. Successful agricultural entrepreneurs adapted production to changing markets. Livestock, grain, wool, and other products supported profitable enterprises. The key difference was scale. Small farmers often struggled. Large-scale managers enjoyed greater flexibility and resources. Once again, expertise and organization produced advantages. Perhaps that is the central lesson emerging from Tudor employment. The best jobs generally rewarded people who could manage complexity. Whether that complexity involved law, medicine, commerce, education, administration, or agriculture, success depended upon knowledge applied effectively. Physical effort remained important, but knowledge increasingly amplified the value of effort. This shift would continue shaping England long after the Tudor period ended. Yet even during the 16th century, perceptive observers could already see its effects. Opportunities expanded for educated individuals. Commerce created new professions. Information became valuable. Networks became important. Specialization increased. The economy grew more interconnected. And within this changing world, some occupations offered advantages so compelling that ambitious young people devoted years of preparation in hopes of obtaining them. Years spent studying, apprenticing, building relationships, developing expertise. The investment could be substantial. But for those who succeeded, the rewards often justified every sacrifice. Because by the end of the Tudor era, the very best careers offered something remarkably rare in human history. Not merely survival, not merely comfort, but genuine opportunity to shape one's own future. Because by the end of the Tudor era, the very best careers offered something remarkably rare in human history. Not merely survival, not merely comfort, but genuine opportunity to shape one's own future. That idea may seem ordinary today. Modern societies often assume that people can choose professions, develop skills, and pursue different paths through life. In Tudor England, however, such possibilities were far from guaranteed. For most individuals, circumstances at birth strongly influenced future prospects. Family occupation, location, economic status, education, all played powerful roles. Yet despite these limitations, the 16th century created openings that earlier generations might scarcely have imagined. And nowhere is this clearer than in the growing importance of professional expertise. Imagine two young men beginning adulthood. One possesses no specialized training. The other has completed years of apprenticeship or education. The difference could shape their entire futures. The trained individual might become a lawyer, merchant, physician, printer, surveyor, teacher, administrator, or master craftsman. His skills created options. Options created flexibility. Flexibility created resilience. These advantages help explain why certain occupations became so desirable. One profession illustrating this particularly well was the notary. Legal agreements increasingly required documentation. Property transactions needed records. Commercial partnerships depended upon written contracts. A notary occupied an important position within this system. The profession demanded literacy, precision, and trustworthiness. Clients relied upon expertise they did not possess themselves. As commerce expanded, demand for such services grew. The occupation may not have attracted dramatic attention, yet it offered respectable income and social standing. The same could be said for many administrative careers. Success often came quietly, without fanfare, without public celebration. Yet stability, respectability, and professional independence represented valuable rewards. Meanwhile, another fascinating occupation continued expanding: the professional accountant. Large estates generated income from multiple sources. Merchants managed increasingly complex transactions. Institutions maintained extensive financial records. All required accurate accounting. The individuals capable of providing this expertise occupied increasingly important positions. Numbers told stories. Accounts revealed opportunities and problems. Good financial management could determine whether an enterprise prospered or failed. For people who enjoyed organization and analysis, accounting offered surprisingly attractive prospects. The profession relied upon knowledge rather than physical strength. Experience enhanced effectiveness, and successful practitioners often developed long-term relationships with influential clients. Nearby, England's growing commercial centers supported another rewarding occupation: the warehouse proprietor. At first glance, storage may not sound exciting, yet trade depended upon it. Goods arriving from different regions required secure locations. Inventories needed management. Deliveries required coordination. The growth of commerce increased demand for these services. Individuals who owned or managed important storage facilities often occupied advantageous positions within local economies. Their businesses connected producers, merchants, transporters, and customers. As trade expanded, their importance grew. This pattern repeated across countless occupations. Economic complexity created opportunities, and those opportunities frequently rewarded people capable of solving practical problems. Another profession that benefited from these developments was shipping management. Not the sailors crossing dangerous seas, not the captains commanding vessels, but the organizers coordinating movement behind the scenes. Cargo schedules, loading arrangements, supply acquisition, port logistics, all required careful planning. Successful managers reduced delays, prevented losses, and improved efficiency. Such skills became increasingly valuable as England's commercial networks expanded. Today we might call this logistics. In Tudor England, the underlying principles were already recognizable. Organization produced economic value. Elsewhere, opportunities emerged within specialized manufacturing. Textile production remained enormously important. The cloth trade supported thousands of livelihoods across England. Among the most successful participants were those supervising large-scale operations. Raw materials had to be acquired, workers coordinated, quality maintained, products marketed. The profession required both practical knowledge and business judgment. For capable managers, rewards could be considerable. Many prosperous families built fortunes through textile-related enterprises. The industry represented one of the kingdom's most important economic foundations. Another desirable occupation connected to England's growing wealth was luxury retail. As prosperous merchants, professionals, and landowners accumulated resources, demand increased for high-quality goods. Imported products, fine fabrics, decorative items, specialized equipment. Retailers serving these markets occupied profitable niches. Their success depended upon understanding customers and maintaining reliable supply networks. Again, relationships mattered, trust mattered, reputation mattered. The recurring themes of Tudor professional life appear almost everywhere we look. As evening settles across the kingdom, one can imagine these professionals completing their daily responsibilities. A merchant reviews shipping reports. An accountant balances figures by candlelight. A surveyor organizes field notes. A teacher prepares lessons. A printer examines freshly completed pages. A physician reflects upon patients seen throughout the day. Their occupations differ dramatically, yet they share a common advantage. Each possesses skills that others need. That need creates value, and value creates opportunity. Perhaps this is why so many of the best Tudor jobs seem familiar to modern audiences. The details differ. The technology differs. The social context differs. But the underlying principles remain recognizable. People who solve important problems tend to prosper. People who develop specialized expertise gain advantages. People who build trust create opportunities. These truths existed in Tudor England just as they exist today. Of course, no profession guaranteed success. Economic downturns occurred. Political upheavals disrupted careers. Disease affected communities. Unexpected events altered lives. Uncertainty remained a constant companion. Yet some occupations offered better protection against uncertainty than others. Professional knowledge functioned almost like insurance. A skilled lawyer could attract new clients. A respected physician could rebuild a practice. A master craftsman could establish a workshop elsewhere. Expertise traveled with the individual. That portability represented a tremendous advantage, especially in a world where many livelihoods depended heavily upon local circumstances. And as the Tudor period moved toward its final years, these realities became increasingly apparent. England was growing more connected, more commercial, more literate, more administratively complex. The professions benefiting from these trends continued gaining importance. Young people seeking advancement noticed. Parents noticed. Patrons noticed. Education became more attractive. Apprenticeships became more valuable. Professional training became more desirable. The kingdom itself was evolving. And those positioned within the right occupations often found themselves carried forward by larger historical currents. currents that would soon help transform England from a relatively modest European kingdom into a nation whose influence would extend far beyond its shores. A transformation that began, in many ways, with the ambitions of ordinary people pursuing extraordinary opportunities. A transformation that began, in many ways, with the ambitions of ordinary people pursuing extraordinary opportunities. If there is one theme running quietly through every corner of Tudor England, it is ambition. Not the loud ambition of conquerors or kings. Not the dramatic ambition celebrated in poems and chronicles, but the steady ambition of ordinary people hoping to improve their lives. A merchant hoping to expand his business. An apprentice dreaming of becoming a master. A student striving for university admission. A clerk seeking promotion. A teacher hoping to earn greater respect. These ambitions shaped countless decisions, and they help explain why certain professions became so desirable. The best jobs offered more than income. They offered progress. A skilled apprentice, for example, entered a world filled with possibility. The apprenticeship system could be demanding. Young people often left home for years. They lived under strict supervision. They worked long hours learning their craft. Yet the rewards could be substantial. Completion of training provided access to professional opportunities unavailable to unskilled laborers. Whether learning tailoring, printing, goldsmithing, carpentry, or another specialized trade, apprentices acquired valuable knowledge. That knowledge became their future. For many Tudor families, apprenticeship represented one of the most reliable investments available. Education served a similar purpose. A family able to send a son to grammar school hoped that literacy and learning would create opportunities beyond manual labor. Sometimes those hopes were fulfilled spectacularly. The educated young man might enter law, church administration, government service, teaching, medicine, commerce. Each profession offered pathways toward improved circumstances. The connection between learning and advancement became increasingly visible throughout the Tudor period. This visibility encouraged even greater interest in education. And wherever education expanded, professional opportunities followed. Meanwhile, England's merchants continued demonstrating how commercial success could transform lives. A prosperous merchant occupied a fascinating position within society. He was neither noble nor peasant, neither courtier nor laborer, yet his influence could be substantial. Wealth generated options. Land purchases became possible. Children could receive education. Business networks expanded. Community leadership roles emerged. In some cases, merchant families rose dramatically within a few generations. This mobility was never simple. Social barriers remained real. Yet commerce provided opportunities that earlier centuries had offered less frequently. The growing importance of merchants reveals something important about Tudor England. Economic success increasingly mattered. Birth retained significance. Land retained significance. But wealth created through skill and enterprise was becoming harder to ignore. Another profession illustrating this trend was that of the successful ship owner. Not the sailor risking storms, not the navigator studying coastlines, but the individual who owned vessels and profited from their voyages. Ship ownership required capital. It involved risk. Yet successful operations could generate impressive returns. Cargo moved. Trade expanded. Profits accumulated. For investors capable of managing uncertainty, maritime commerce represented one of the most promising opportunities of the age. The profession demonstrates how ownership frequently produced advantages beyond direct labor. This pattern appears repeatedly throughout Tudor employment. Ownership created leverage. A workshop owner benefited from apprentices and employees. A merchant benefited from commercial networks. A landowner benefited from rents and production. A ship owner benefited from trade. The ability to organize resources often proved more profitable than performing every task personally. Elsewhere, another respected occupation continued attracting talented individuals. The physician attached to a wealthy household. Serving a prosperous family offered advantages beyond ordinary medical practice. Income might be more predictable. Living conditions could be comfortable. Professional connections could expand. The position combined expertise with patronage. Many desirable tutor careers relied upon precisely this combination. Skill opened the door. Patronage helped keep it open. This relationship between talent and support shaped numerous professions. A scholar required sponsors. A lawyer needed clients. A merchant depended upon partners. A physician benefited from influential recommendations. Success rarely occurred in isolation. Networks mattered. Communities mattered. Relationships mattered. And perhaps nowhere was this more obvious than in the world of government service. Advancement often depended upon demonstrating reliability over many years. Officials needed trusted assistants. Administrators needed capable subordinates. Patrons looked for competence. Individuals who consistently performed well frequently received additional responsibilities. Those responsibilities sometimes led to remarkable opportunities. Many successful tutor careers developed gradually rather than dramatically. Years of diligent work produced steady advancement. Patience proved just as valuable as ambition. The same principle applied within academia. A scholar did not become respected overnight. Years of study preceded recognition. Research required effort. Teaching demanded commitment. Intellectual reputation developed slowly. Yet once established, it could support an entire lifetime of opportunity. The profession rewarded persistence. In many ways, this reflected broader tutor values. Mastery required time. Expertise required effort. Professional success required endurance. Quick rewards existed occasionally. Lasting success usually developed through sustained work. Meanwhile, one of the most attractive aspects of certain occupations was their relative protection from physical hardship. This advantage should not be underestimated. Agricultural labor was exhausting. Construction work was demanding. Many occupations required intense physical effort day after day. Professional careers often reduced these burdens. A lawyer worked with documents. A teacher worked with students. A physician worked with patients. An administrator worked with records. The work remained challenging, but the challenges were different. They relied more heavily upon intellect than endurance. For many people, this distinction greatly improved quality of life. Another important advantage involved continuity. A laborer's earning capacity often depended upon physical health. An injury could be devastating. A professional's expertise generally remained useful even as age advanced. Indeed, experience often increased value. Older lawyers possessed deeper knowledge. Older physicians enjoyed stronger reputations. Older merchants benefited from extensive networks. Older administrators understood complex systems. In many professions, age became an asset rather than a liability. This made long-term career prospects particularly attractive. As the years passed, skilled professionals often became more influential rather than less. And influence itself carried rewards. People sought their advice, respected their opinions, trusted their judgment. Such standing could not always be measured financially, yet it contributed significantly to quality of life. The best tutor jobs frequently combined material comfort with social respect. That combination proved powerful. By the closing decades of the 16th century, England contained growing numbers of people pursuing precisely these advantages. They studied, apprenticed, built businesses, cultivated reputations, formed partnerships, managed institutions. Together, they helped create a more complex and dynamic society. A society where opportunities remained unevenly distributed, but where expertise increasingly opened doors. And as new generations entered adulthood, many looked toward the future with hopes that would have seemed ambitious indeed to their grandparents. Because the world they were inheriting was changing. Trades stretched farther. Knowledge spread faster. Cities grew larger. Professions became more specialized. And with every passing year, the rewards for possessing valuable skills became increasingly difficult to ignore. And with every passing year, the rewards for possessing valuable skills became increasingly difficult to ignore. A young person living in Tudor England could see these changes unfolding all around them, perhaps not in dramatic ways, not through grand announcements or sweeping declarations, but through everyday observations. the successful merchant moving into a larger house, the respected lawyer acquiring additional land, the physician attracting wealthy clients, the master craftsman expanding his workshop, the schoolmaster educating children destined for influential careers. These examples demonstrated an important truth. Knowledge and skill were becoming powerful forms of wealth, not replacements for land or noble birth, but increasingly important additions to them. One profession that reflected this trend particularly well was estate management. Large estates were complicated operations. Fields needed supervision. Tenants required oversight. Accounts demanded attention. Buildings required maintenance. Resources had to be allocated efficiently. A capable estate manager functioned almost like the chief executive of a small economic system. The role demanded organizational ability, practical knowledge, and sound judgment. Successful managers often enjoyed considerable trust from landowners. That trust frequently translated into stable employment and respectable status. The profession offered something many Tudor occupations could not: a blend of responsibility, security, and influence. Nearby, another career path attracted ambitious individuals: the legal steward. Large households and estates generated countless legal questions: property agreements, tenant disputes, inheritance matters, contractual arrangements. Stewards possessing legal expertise became especially valuable. They combined administrative responsibilities with professional knowledge. This combination increased their importance dramatically. Again, specialized expertise created opportunity. The pattern repeats so often because it truly sat at the heart of many desirable Tudor careers. Meanwhile, England's expanding commercial economy continued creating entirely new professional demands. One occupation benefiting from these developments was market inspection and regulation. Goods required oversight. Weights and measures needed verification. Commercial standards demanded enforcement. While such roles rarely appear in popular histories, they played important parts in maintaining economic confidence. A trustworthy marketplace benefited everyone. Consumers gained protection. Merchants gained credibility. Communities gained stability. Officials responsible for these functions often occupied respected positions. Their work supported the smooth operation of local economies. Another profession increasingly connected to opportunity was surveying for infrastructure projects. Roads, drainage systems, construction initiatives, and land improvements required planning. Technical knowledge became more important. Measurement mattered. Accuracy mattered. The people capable of providing these services enjoyed growing demand. This reflects a broader transformation occurring across Tudor society. Practical expertise was becoming increasingly valuable. Not theoretical knowledge alone. Applied knowledge. Knowledge capable of solving real problems. That distinction helped many professionals prosper. A physician applied medical understanding. A surveyor applied mathematics. A merchant applied commercial judgment. A printer applied technical skill. A lawyer applied legal knowledge. The best occupations often sat at the intersection of learning and practical usefulness. As evening approaches another busy day somewhere in Tudor England, imagine a prosperous market town preparing for nightfall. Shops begin closing. Merchants secure inventories. Workers finish tasks. Smoke rises from chimneys. Church bells announce the hour. Within homes across the town, people reflect upon the day's work. Some worry about uncertain futures. Others enjoy a degree of comfort made possible by professional success. The contrast between these experiences reveals much about the value of desirable occupations. Security mattered enormously. Modern audiences sometimes underestimate this point. We often focus on wealth. Tudor people certainly valued wealth as well. Yet security may have mattered even more. Reliable income, predictable employment, protection against hardship, the ability to plan for the future. These advantages transformed daily life. A respected physician might enjoy them. So might a successful merchant, a trusted administrator, a prosperous craftsman, a well-established teacher. The best jobs frequently provided stability as much as prosperity. Another career illustrating this principle was that of the royal supplier. The Tudor court consumed enormous quantities of goods, food, textiles, furniture, equipment. Countless products moved through royal networks. Businesses capable of supplying these needs often benefited significantly. Royal contracts could enhance both income and reputation. Success, however, required reliability. The crown expected quality and consistency. Those who met expectations sometimes built highly successful enterprises. The profession demonstrates how connections to major institutions could create remarkable opportunities. The same applied to military supply management. Armies required provisions, weapons, transport, administrative coordination. Individuals overseeing these systems often occupied important positions. Although less visible than commanders, they contributed directly to military effectiveness. The role rewarded organization and logistical skill. As in so many Tudor professions, competence produced opportunity. Elsewhere, scholars continued contributing to intellectual life. Some taught, some wrote, some advised officials. Some participated in religious debates. The rewards varied. Not every scholar became wealthy, yet the profession offered unique satisfactions. Learning itself held value. Many educated individuals genuinely loved books, ideas, and discussion. For them, scholarship represented not merely employment, but vocation. This distinction appears throughout history. People often pursue careers for different reasons. Some prioritize income. Others seek influence. Others desire stability. Others value intellectual fulfillment. The most attractive Tudor occupations frequently combined several of these benefits. A physician enjoyed both income and respect. A merchant gained wealth and independence. A scholar found purpose and status. A government official achieved influence and security. The specific balance varied from profession to profession. Yet the combination made certain careers particularly desirable. And perhaps that is why discussions of Tudor employment remain fascinating centuries later. They reveal what people valued, what they feared, what they hoped for. Careers are never merely economic arrangements. They reflect broader social priorities. The best Tudor jobs illuminate Tudor aspirations: education, advancement, respectability, influence, security. These goals appear repeatedly. And despite the centuries separating modern audiences from Tudor England, many of those ambitions remain surprisingly familiar. People still seek meaningful work, still pursue expertise, still hope to improve their circumstances, still value trust and reputation. The details have changed. The motivations often have not. As darkness settles over the kingdom and candles begin glowing in homes, workshops, and halls, thousands of professionals continue preparing for another day. Another day of teaching, trading, healing, managing, building, writing, organizing. Each contributes in some way to a society becoming steadily more interconnected and sophisticated. And with every year that passes, the importance of these skilled occupations becomes more apparent. Because England's future would increasingly depend not only upon kings and nobles, but upon the merchants, administrators, teachers, craftsmen, scholars, and professionals whose work quietly shaped the nation from within. Because England's future would increasingly depend not only upon kings and nobles, but upon the merchants, administrators, teachers, craftsmen, scholars, and professionals whose work quietly shaped the nation from within. When people think about Tudor England, they often picture famous monarchs, royal palaces, and dramatic political events. Those stories certainly matter. Yet beneath them existed another history, a quieter history, a history built by ordinary professionals carrying out responsibilities day after day. The lawyer preparing documents by candlelight, the merchant calculating profits and losses, the teacher guiding students through Latin grammar, the physician examining a patient, the steward balancing estate accounts. These individuals rarely became the subjects of grand portraits or dramatic chronicles. Nevertheless, their contributions helped shape the kingdom's development, and many occupied careers that modern people would find surprisingly appealing. One such profession was that of the municipal official. As towns expanded, local governments became increasingly important. Road maintenance, market regulation, public administration, financial oversight, record keeping. Each required competent leadership. Municipal officials often occupied respected positions within their communities. The role demanded practical judgment and organizational skill. For ambitious individuals interested in public service, it offered both influence and stability. The profession also demonstrates something important about tutor opportunity. Not all desirable jobs existed at the national level. Many rewarding careers operated within local communities. Indeed, local influence often mattered more directly than distant political power. People interacted daily with teachers, merchants, clergy, and civic officials. These relationships shaped ordinary life. Another attractive occupation connected to urban growth was property management. As towns expanded, buildings increased in value. Rental arrangements became more common. Maintenance required coordination. Financial oversight remained essential. Individuals managing valuable properties often developed profitable businesses. The work combined administration, finance, and practical problem solving. It rewarded reliability and attention to detail. Again, the recurring pattern appears. The best jobs frequently involved organizing resources effectively. Meanwhile, England's growing commercial sophistication created demand for contract specialists and commercial advisors. Business arrangements became increasingly complex. Partnerships required structure. Agreements required documentation. Disputes required resolution. Individuals possessing expertise in these areas occupied valuable positions. Their knowledge reduced uncertainty for clients. Reducing uncertainty has always been one of the most valuable services any professional can provide. Whether physician, lawyer, surveyor, or merchant, successful practitioners often helped others navigate risks and complexities. That service generated trust. Trust generated opportunity. Elsewhere, another profession continued attracting talented individuals: the university lecturer. While university education remained accessible to only a minority, academic institutions played important roles within Tudor society. Lecturers taught future lawyers, clergy, administrators, and scholars. Their influence extended far beyond classroom walls. The profession offered intellectual engagement, respect, and opportunities for advancement. Financial rewards varied, but many academics valued the life of learning itself. Books, debates, research, teaching. For individuals drawn to ideas, few careers could compete. And because education increasingly mattered, academic expertise carried growing significance. The same intellectual transformation benefited professional writers and translators. Literacy rates remained limited by modern standards, yet demand for written materials expanded steadily. Religious works, educational texts, official documents, historical accounts, commercial correspondence. The written word played an increasingly important role in Tudor life. Individuals skilled in writing and translation therefore occupied specialized niches. Their expertise connected people, institutions, and ideas. Another profession revealing the changing nature of opportunity was cartography, mapmaking. As trade expanded and geographic knowledge improved, accurate maps became more valuable. Governments used them. Merchants relied upon them. Explorers studied them. Landowners commissioned them. The profession required precision, technical knowledge, and artistic skill. Although relatively specialized, it demonstrates how expanding horizons created entirely new career possibilities. A century earlier, demand for such expertise had been far more limited. Now it was growing. New needs were producing new opportunities, and that process would continue long after the Tudor era ended. Meanwhile, successful innkeepers remained important figures throughout England. Travel continued increasing. Merchants moved between markets. Officials traveled on government business. Students journeyed to schools and universities. Couriers carried messages. All required accommodation. A well-managed inn served not merely as lodging but as a center of information exchange. News arrived constantly. Business relationships formed. Local developments were discussed. The innkeeper often knew more about regional events than many of his neighbors. The profession demanded hard work, yet it could provide both prosperity and social importance. As twilight deepens across Tudor England, it becomes easier to appreciate why certain occupations inspired admiration. They offered control over one's future, not complete control. No Tudor profession could promise that. Disease, politics, economic shifts, and accidents remained unavoidable realities. Yet some careers offered greater influence over outcomes than others. A skilled merchant could adapt strategies. A lawyer could attract new clients. A physician could expand a reputation. A craftsman could improve products. Professional expertise increased flexibility, and flexibility often determined who weathered difficult times successfully. This helps explain why apprenticeships, education, and training mattered so much. Families understood their value. A learned profession might protect future generations from hardship. A successful business could create opportunities for children. Skills represented investments. Perhaps the most remarkable aspect of Tudor employment is how forward-looking many successful people became. They planned. They invested. They built networks. They trained successors. They thought beyond immediate survival. Such behavior reflected increasing economic confidence. As opportunities expanded, long-term planning became more practical. And long-term planning often distinguished the most successful professionals from everyone else. The merchant prepared for future ventures. The teacher prepared students. The administrator prepared institutions. The craftsman trained apprentices. The lawyer developed enduring client relationships. Each looked beyond the present moment. This outlook helped drive broader social change. England was gradually becoming more connected, more educated, and more commercially active. Professional occupations contributed directly to that transformation. Not through dramatic acts, through steady effort, day after day, year after year. The cumulative effect proved enormous. By the end of the Tudor period, many of the kingdom's most desirable careers revolved around skills that would remain valuable for centuries to come. Commerce, law, education, administration, medicine, technical expertise. The foundations of a modern professional society were beginning to emerge. And for those fortunate enough to occupy these professions, life often offered advantages unimaginable to many of their contemporaries. Advantages that extended beyond wealth alone. Advantages measured in stability, influence, independence, and possibility. Possibilities that would continue expanding as England entered a new century, carrying forward many of the lessons learned by the ambitious men and women who had spent decades building careers in a rapidly changing world. Possibilities that would continue expanding as England entered a new century, carrying forward many of the lessons learned by the ambitious men and women who had spent decades building careers in a rapidly changing world. As the Tudor age moved toward its final years, England was becoming a place where opportunity increasingly followed knowledge. Not perfectly, not equally, but noticeably. A person with valuable skills often possessed advantages that previous generations could scarcely have imagined. This transformation did not erase old social structures. Noble families remained powerful. Land ownership remained important. Birth still influenced opportunity. Yet expertise was steadily claiming a larger role in determining success. That shift helps explain why so many of the best Tudor jobs centered upon professional competence. One occupation reflecting this trend was that of the royal administrator. The Tudor government had grown far more sophisticated than earlier medieval administrations. Taxes required management. Records demanded organization. Policies needed implementation. Communications had to be coordinated. The kingdom relied increasingly upon trained officials capable of handling these responsibilities. For educated individuals, government administration offered exceptional opportunities, stable employment, influential connections, meaningful responsibilities, and, occasionally, substantial advancement. The profession rewarded diligence and reliability more than dramatic displays of talent. Those qualities often produced lasting careers. Another profession benefiting from administrative growth was archival management. Today, records may seem ordinary. In Tudor England, they were essential. Property rights, legal decisions, financial transactions, government orders, all depended upon documentation. The people responsible for preserving and organizing these records performed important work. Without accurate records, institutions struggled to function effectively. The profession required literacy, precision, and patience. Though rarely celebrated, it offered stability and respectability. And stability remained one of the most valuable rewards any occupation could provide. Elsewhere, England's commercial networks continued expanding. This growth created opportunities for wholesale merchants. Unlike small retailers serving local customers, wholesalers operated on larger scales. They moved substantial quantities of goods between regions. Their decisions influenced prices and availability. Success demanded extensive knowledge of markets and supply chains. The risks could be significant. So could the rewards. Many prosperous commercial fortunes emerged through precisely this kind of enterprise. The profession exemplified how commerce increasingly rewarded organization and information. A merchant who understood market conditions often enjoyed important advantages. Knowledge became profit. Meanwhile, the demand for skilled builders remained strong. England's wealthier classes continued investing in houses, estates, and improvements. Master builders coordinated labor, materials, budgets, and schedules. Their responsibilities extended far beyond manual construction. They acted as planners and managers. Clients trusted them with substantial investments. A strong reputation, therefore, carried tremendous value. Successful builders frequently enjoyed steady work and respectable incomes. The profession illustrates another recurring lesson of Tudor employment. People who could oversee complex projects often prospered. Whether managing estates, businesses, workshops, or construction efforts, organizational ability created opportunity. Nearby, another profession quietly flourished: the commercial educator. Merchants increasingly recognized the value of practical instruction. Young people entering business needed literacy, numeracy, accounting skills, and commercial knowledge. Teachers capable of providing this education occupied useful positions. Their work supported the next generation of traders and administrators. Education was no longer limited solely to classical scholarship. Practical learning mattered, too. This shift reflected broader economic changes occurring throughout the kingdom. As commerce expanded, useful knowledge became increasingly valuable, and those who taught useful knowledge often benefited. The same principle applied within navigation. Experienced instructors trained future sailors, navigators, and maritime professionals. England's growing engagement with overseas trade increased demand for such expertise. Teaching, therefore, became connected directly to economic development. Knowledge passed from one generation to another. Opportunity followed. Another attractive career involved the management of charitable institutions. Hospitals, schools, religious foundations, and community organizations all required administration. Funds needed oversight. Resources required allocation. Records demanded maintenance. Capable managers often occupied respected positions within local society. Their work combined public service with professional responsibility. For individuals motivated by both practical achievement and community contribution, such careers could be deeply satisfying. Meanwhile, successful professionals increasingly understood the importance of reputation as a long-term asset. A merchant's reputation attracted partners. A physician's reputation attracted patients. A lawyer's reputation attracted clients. A teacher's reputation attracted students. Unlike money, reputation could not be spent directly, yet it often proved equally valuable. Indeed, many Tudor careers depended upon trust more than anything else. Without trust, transactions became difficult. Advice lost credibility. Relationships weakened. Opportunities disappeared. This reality helps explain why integrity appears so frequently in discussions of professional success during the period. Trustworthiness possessed genuine economic value. The marketplace rewarded it. Communities rewarded it. Institutions rewarded it. As evening settles over another Tudor day, imagine the countless professionals whose livelihoods depend upon these principles. A merchant reviews correspondence from distant partners. A physician organizes notes about patients. A teacher prepares tomorrow's lessons. A surveyor studies measurements gathered in the field. An administrator completes official records. Each performs different tasks, yet each relies upon expertise developed through years of effort. Their knowledge distinguishes them. That distinction creates opportunity, and opportunity shapes lives. The best jobs in Tudor England were rarely easy. They required training, commitment, discipline, patience. Years of preparation often preceded success. Yet the rewards could be extraordinary by the standards of the time. Greater comfort, greater security, greater independence, greater influence. Many people recognized this. That recognition encouraged investment in education, apprenticeships, and professional development. Parents made sacrifices for children's futures. Apprentices endured difficult training. Students devoted years to study. The potential benefits justified the effort. And perhaps that is one of the most enduring aspects of the Tudor experience. People understood that skills could change lives. Not instantly, not magically, but gradually and meaningfully. The professions that offered the greatest opportunities generally rewarded exactly those qualities that remain valuable today. Competence, reliability, adaptability, knowledge, persistence. The tools have changed. The world has changed. Yet those principles continue to matter. As the Tudor century approached its close, the individuals who embodied them often found themselves best positioned to benefit from England's continuing transformation. A transformation that was creating new forms of wealth, new professional opportunities, and new possibilities for advancement with each passing decade. And for those paying attention, the future seemed increasingly full of promise. And for those paying attention, the future seemed increasingly full of promise. But promise in Tudor England was never simple. It always came with conditions. Skills could open doors, yes, but only if those skills remained relevant. Only if demand persisted. Only if institutions remained stable enough to support professional life. This is why the most desirable occupations were not just those that paid well in a single moment. They were the ones that stayed useful across changing circumstances. One such profession was legal advocacy in expanding commercial disputes. As trade increased, so did conflict. Disagreements over contracts, arguments over land boundaries, inheritance disputes, debt recovery, commercial partnerships gone wrong. All of these required legal expertise. A skilled advocate became essential in resolving such matters. The profession offered intellectual challenge and consistent demand. It also offered something even more valuable: adaptability. Lawyers could shift between clients, cases, and regions. Their knowledge remained relevant even as economic conditions changed. This adaptability made the profession one of the most stable and attractive in Tudor England. Closely connected was the role of legal clerkship. Before one became a full advocate, many began as clerks. Clerks drafted documents, recorded proceedings, managed case materials, observed experienced lawyers at work. The position functioned as both employment and training. It provided income while developing expertise. Many successful legal professionals began their careers in this way. The structure of progression itself made the profession especially appealing. It had a clear path, a ladder of advancement. Another highly valued occupation was estate auditing. Large estates generated ongoing financial complexity: rent collection, tenant accounts, expense tracking, revenue reporting. A trained auditor ensured accuracy and accountability. Landowners depended upon these assessments to manage wealth effectively. Errors could lead to significant losses. Accuracy therefore carried real value. Auditors who proved reliable often retained long-term employment with influential households. This stability made the profession quietly desirable. It may not have carried public fame, but it carried trust. And trust was often more important than fame. Meanwhile, England's expanding maritime activity continued producing new roles. One of the most important was ship provisioning management. Ships required supplies for long journeys: food, water, tools, equipment, maintenance materials. A provisioning manager ensured everything necessary was prepared in advance. Delays or shortages could jeopardize entire voyages. So precision mattered, planning mattered, responsibility mattered. The profession illustrates how Tudor expansion was not only about exploration or trade itself, but also about the growing support systems behind it. Every successful voyage depended upon dozens of unseen roles, and those roles increasingly offered opportunities for skilled individuals. Another emerging occupation involved commercial negotiation between regions. Markets varied across England. Prices fluctuated. Availability changed. Individuals who understood these variations could profit from them. They acted as intermediaries, moving goods where demand was strongest. This required awareness, timing, and judgment. It also required strong networks. Success depended upon knowing where opportunity existed before others recognized it. Information again becomes central. Those who controlled information often controlled advantage. This principle applies across many Tudor professions. The more one understands, the more one can respond effectively. This is especially true in education. Teachers in grammar schools played a crucial role in preparing students for future careers. Latin instruction, writing skills, basic logic, religious understanding. These formed the foundation of many professional paths. Without them, advancement became far more difficult. Teachers therefore functioned as gatekeepers of opportunity. Their influence extended beyond the classroom into broader society. Some students would go on to become lawyers, others merchants, others clerics, others administrators. Education created pathways. Pathways created mobility. Mobility created change. Another profession shaped by this dynamic was clerical writing for government offices. As administration expanded, so did the need for written communication. Letters, orders, reports, records. Clerks produced the documentation that allowed government to function. They occupied essential positions within bureaucratic systems. Their work required precision and literacy. And although the role could be repetitive, it provided steady employment and opportunities for advancement. Many senior administrators began as clerks. Progress was gradual, but possible. That possibility made the profession attractive to many educated young men. Meanwhile, artisans continued demonstrating how specialized craftsmanship could create prosperity. Tailors serving wealthy clients produced garments reflecting status and identity. Clothing was not merely functional, it was symbolic. It communicated wealth, rank, and taste. Skilled tailors understood this deeply. Their work required precision and artistry. Successful practitioners often built strong reputations and loyal clientele. The same applied to shoemakers, leatherworkers, and textile specialists. Across many trades, quality defined success. And quality required skill. As the Tudor world grew more complex, specialization became increasingly important. A general laborer had fewer advantages than someone with the defined expertise. This shift encouraged apprenticeships and training systems. It also reinforced the value of learning. Even modest knowledge could improve prospects significantly. Reading, writing, basic arithmetic, practical skills, each added potential advantage. And over time, those advantages accumulated. What begins as a small improvement in capability can become a meaningful difference in opportunity. This is perhaps one of the most subtle but powerful changes occurring throughout Tudor England. The gradual expansion of accessible advancement. Not equal advancement, not guaranteed advancement, but increasing possibility. And within that possibility, individuals made choices. Some pursued trade. Some pursued learning. Some pursued administration. Some pursued craftsmanship. Some pursued service in great households. Each path carried its own risks and rewards, yet all depended upon the same underlying principle. Skill mattered, and those who developed useful skills often found themselves better positioned to navigate the uncertainties of Tudor life. As night settles once again over England, the rhythm of professional life continues quietly in towns, cities, and estates. Work completed, records updated, goods stored, lessons prepared, journeys planned. Across countless occupations, people prepare for another day. A day that may bring routine, or change, or opportunity, or challenge. And for those in the most desirable professions of the Tudor world, Each new day offers something particularly valuable: the chance to use knowledge in ways that shape not only their own futures, but the world around them. The chance to use knowledge in ways that shape not only their own futures, but the world around them. By this stage of the Tudor period, it is becoming easier to see how deeply knowledge had woven itself into everyday life. Not in abstract ways, not in distant philosophical terms, but in practical, working terms. A merchant calculating profit margins, a clerk recording transactions, a lawyer drafting agreements, a teacher instructing students, a physician diagnosing illness, a surveyor measuring land. Each of these roles depended upon applied knowledge, and each of these roles helped maintain the functioning of Tudor society. One of the most significant professions in this system was financial stewardship for wealthy households. Great estates were not simple possessions. They were complex economic systems. Income flowed in from rents, agricultural production, and trade. Expenses flowed out through wages, repairs, purchases, and obligations. A steward or financial manager ensured balance between these forces. Mismanagement could weaken an entire estate. Careful management could strengthen it for generations. This responsibility made the role both powerful and demanding. It required trust at the highest level. Because of that trust, successful stewards often gained long-term security and influence. Another closely related occupation was tenant coordination. Large landowners relied on structured relationships with tenants. Contracts needed enforcement. Payments needed tracking. Disputes needed resolution. Someone had to maintain order within this system. That role often fell to trained administrators who understood both legal frameworks and practical realities. Their work may not have been dramatic, but it was essential. Without it, rural economies would struggle to function smoothly. Meanwhile, in towns and cities, trade regulation continued becoming more important. Markets needed oversight to ensure fairness. Weights and measures required standardization. Quality control helped maintain consumer confidence. Officials responsible for these tasks ensured that commerce remained stable. Although such roles rarely appear in popular stories, they played a vital part in sustaining economic trust. And trust, once again, proves to be a recurring theme across Tudor occupations. Another profession shaped by trust was apprenticeship supervision. Masters did not simply train apprentices. They were responsible for shaping future professionals, teaching skills, instilling discipline, passing on knowledge, ensuring proper conduct. The apprentice-master relationship was both educational and contractual. A successful master could produce highly skilled successors. Those successors would continue the craft, strengthening its reputation and demand. In this way, professional knowledge was preserved and transmitted across generations. Elsewhere, another important occupation was that of the traveling inspector. Government and institutional bodies occasionally required officials to visit different locations, verify conditions, and report findings. These inspectors evaluated accounts, reviewed operations, and ensured compliance with regulations. Their work demanded independence and integrity. Because they operated away from direct supervision, trust was essential. Such roles offered both responsibility and mobility. They also provided exposure to different regions and practices, which could broaden professional experience. Another emerging opportunity lay in written correspondence services for merchants and officials. As trade networks expanded, communication became more frequent and more complex. Letters needed drafting, copying, and organizing. Records had to be maintained systematically. Individuals who specialized in managing correspondence became valuable intermediaries within commercial systems. Their work supported the flow of information that allowed trade and administration to function efficiently. In many ways, they were early information managers. Even if the term did not exist at the time, the function certainly did. At the same time, artisans continued benefiting from increasing demand for quality goods. Furniture makers, metalworkers, and textile producers all served expanding markets. A wealthy household might commission custom pieces reflecting status and personal taste. These items were not mass-produced. They required skilled craftsmanship. Each product carried the mark of its maker's ability. This made reputation especially important. A well-known craftsman could attract consistent work. A poor reputation could end a career. Thus, quality control existed not through formal regulation alone, but through social trust and recognition. Another profession tied closely to craftsmanship was workshop management. Large workshops required coordination of apprentices, journeymen, materials, and production schedules. The master of such a workshop was not merely a technician. He was also a manager. He balanced creativity with organization, production with demand, skill with efficiency. Successful workshop leaders often achieved both financial stability and local respect. The structure of this profession shows how Tudor work was often layered. Many roles combined practical skill with administrative responsibility. Even artisans needed management ability. Even administrators needed practical understanding. This blending of functions helped define many of the most desirable occupations. Meanwhile, education continued expanding slowly across English society. Grammar schools became more common. Literacy gradually increased. Basic numeracy spread. Although access remained limited by modern standards, the direction of change was clear. More people were acquiring useful skills, and those skills were increasingly linked to employment opportunities. Parents who invested in education often did so with long-term expectations. They hoped for clerical positions, professional careers, trade advancement, social improvement. Sometimes those hopes were realized, sometimes not. But the possibility itself was powerful enough to shape decisions, and that possibility gradually reshaped society. As the Tudor period progressed, occupations became more defined, more specialized, and more interconnected. No single profession existed in isolation. Each depended upon others. Merchants relied on clerks. Lawyers relied on administrators. Physicians relied on suppliers. Teachers relied on institutions. Craftsmen relied on markets. This interdependence created a complex economic system, a system that required coordination, trust, and knowledge at multiple levels. The people who could navigate that system effectively were often those who achieved the greatest success. And as England moved toward the end of the Tudor era, their influence would only continue to grow. Because the world they were building was becoming more structured, more professional, and more dependent upon skilled individuals than ever before. Because the world they were building was becoming more structured, more professional, and more dependent upon skilled individuals than ever before. By the later Tudor decades, a careful observer could already notice that England was no longer operating on the same economic logic it once had. Land still mattered. Agriculture still mattered. But alongside them, something new had taken root. A system in which knowledge itself functioned as a form of capital. Not physical capital, like livestock or fields, but intellectual capital. Skills that could be applied repeatedly across different contexts. One of the clearest examples of this shift was the rise of specialized legal drafting. Contracts were no longer simple verbal agreements. They were increasingly written, detailed, and structured. Land transfers, commercial partnerships, employment arrangements, inheritance settlements. Each required precise wording. A poorly drafted document could lead to disputes. A well-drafted one could prevent them entirely. This made skilled legal scribes and draftsmen highly valuable. Their work reduced uncertainty in an increasingly complex society. Another occupation shaped by this complexity was dispute mediation. Not all conflicts went directly to formal courts. Many were resolved informally through negotiation. Trusted mediators played a crucial role in this process. They understood law. They understood social relationships. They understood economic interests. Their goal was not victory for one side, but resolution acceptable to both. Successful mediators often built strong reputations within their communities. Their value lay in judgment and discretion. And in Tudor society, discretion was often as valuable as skill. Meanwhile, England's expanding trade networks continued generating demand for logistical coordinators. As goods moved through ports, markets, and warehouses, someone had to ensure that everything functioned smoothly. Delays, losses, and miscommunication could create serious financial consequences. Coordinators managed schedules, organized transport, and resolved operational problems. Their role required attention to detail and practical intelligence. Though not always visible, they were essential to commercial success. Another profession emerging in importance was record authentication. As written documents became more common, verifying their legitimacy became necessary. Officials responsible for this work ensured that records were accurate and trustworthy. This helped maintain confidence in legal and commercial systems. Without verification, disputes would increase and trust would weaken. Thus, even administrative verification became a specialized skill. The increasing importance of documentation also benefited archivists and record keepers. Long-term storage of information became critical for institutions. Churches, courts, estates, and government offices all relied on organized records. Archivists ensured that information remained accessible and secure. Their work supported continuity across generations. In many ways, they preserved the memory of institutions themselves. Elsewhere, in the world of craftsmanship, specialization continued deepening. Rather than general artisans, more workshops focused on highly specific products. Fine metalwork, specialized textiles, decorative carving, precision tools. Each specialization required focused training and experience. This deepening of skill increased quality, but also reinforced the value of apprenticeship systems. Knowledge had to be passed carefully from master to apprentice. Without that transmission, skills would be lost. This created a strong link between generations of workers. Continuity itself became a professional asset. Another important development was the increasing role of financial intermediaries in commerce. As trade expanded, direct transactions between individuals became less practical. Intermediaries facilitated exchanges. They matched buyers with sellers, helped establish prices, reduced risks. These individuals operated in spaces between formal institutions and informal networks. Their effectiveness depended heavily on reputation and trust. Once again, personal credibility proved essential. A trustworthy intermediary could build a long-lasting career. An untrustworthy one would quickly lose opportunities. Meanwhile, education continued shaping professional pathways in subtle but important ways. Grammar schools, apprenticeships, and university training all contributed to a growing pool of literate individuals. Even basic literacy could significantly improve career prospects. Being able to read instructions, write correspondence, maintain accounts, understand contracts. These skills increasingly separated successful individuals from those with fewer opportunities. The effect was gradual but persistent. Over time, literacy became one of the most important predictors of professional success in Tudor England. Not because it guaranteed wealth, but because it enabled participation in systems that required written communication. As those systems expanded, literacy became even more valuable. Another emerging occupation was technical instruction within crafts. Experienced artisans increasingly took on formal teaching roles within workshops. They trained apprentices not only in practical skills but also in standards of quality and production methods. This system helped maintain consistency across trades. It also created structured pathways into skilled professions. An apprentice could progress into journeyman status and eventually into mastery. Each stage brought greater responsibility and independence. This structure reinforced the importance of long-term training. Quick success was rare. Sustained effort was necessary, and those willing to invest time often benefited most. As Tudor England approached its later years, it is increasingly clear that the most desirable occupations shared a common foundation. They were built upon knowledge systems. Law required legal knowledge. Medicine required medical knowledge. Commerce required market knowledge. Administration required organizational knowledge. Craftsmanship required technical knowledge. And increasingly, success depended on how effectively that knowledge could be applied. Not just possessed, but used. Used to solve problems. Used to manage systems. Used to create value. This shift did not eliminate traditional forms of labor, but it did elevate the importance of professional expertise. and it gradually changed what people considered to be a good job. A good job was no longer only about physical survival. It was about stability, advancement, and the ability to shape one's circumstances. As this idea spread, more individuals began pursuing education and training. More families invested in apprenticeships. More communities supported schools. And more young people looked toward professions as pathways into a better future. A future shaped not by chance alone, but by skill, by effort, and by the ability to navigate a world growing steadily more complex with each passing year. A future shaped not by chance alone, but by skill, by effort, and by the ability to navigate a world growing steadily more complex with each passing year. By this point in Tudor England, the structure of opportunity had become almost layered, like different levels of the same system, each requiring more knowledge than the last. At the base level were manual occupations, farming, basic labor, unskilled service. Above that were trained crafts, carpentry, tailoring, metalworking, printing. Above that, administrative and commercial roles, clerks, merchants, accountants, stewards. And above those, the highly specialized professions, law, medicine, higher education, advanced governance, and international trade management. Each level required more preparation, more literacy, more numeracy, more discipline, and more trust from society. One of the most influential professions within this layered structure was the professional scrivener. A scrivener was not merely a writer. He was a technical document specialist. He produced contracts, wills, leases, business agreements, and official correspondence with precision. Every word mattered. Every phrase carried legal and financial consequences. In a society increasingly governed by written records, scriveners became essential. Their work reduced disputes and stabilized transactions. Another key occupation was that of the fee-based legal consultant. Unlike institutional officials tied to courts or estates, some legal experts operated independently. They advised clients, interpreted laws, helped structure agreements. Their value came from understanding complex legal systems and translating them into practical advice. This role reflected a broader shift. Law was no longer just institutional. It was becoming a service, available to those who could afford expertise. Closely related was the growing importance of financial planning advisors for merchants and estate owners. As commerce expanded, financial decisions became more complicated. Investments, trade risks, supply chains, credit arrangements, currency fluctuations. Individuals who could help navigate these challenges became increasingly valuable. Even without modern financial systems, the basic need remained the same. People wanted to reduce risk and increase stability, and those who could help them do that often built strong careers. Another significant occupation was urban infrastructure coordination. As towns expanded, managing streets, drainage systems, and public spaces became more complex. Officials and coordinators oversaw repairs and improvements. They organized labor, allocated resources, ensured functionality. Though rarely celebrated, their work directly affected daily life. Clean water access, passable roads, functional marketplaces. These systems supported both commerce and health. Meanwhile, England's expanding maritime activity continued creating opportunities beyond shorelines. The port officials played a crucial role in regulating movement of goods and people. They inspected cargo, recorded arrivals and departures, collected duties, enforced regulations. Their responsibilities required both authority and accuracy. As trade volume increased, so did the importance of their work. In many ways, ports became administrative hubs of international exchange. Another growing field was professional tutoring for elite households. Beyond basic schooling, wealthy families often employed private tutors for specialized instruction. Languages, classical studies, mathematics, philosophy. The role required deep knowledge and strong teaching ability. It also required adaptability, since each household had different expectations. Successful tutors often gained long-term positions and valuable patronage connections. Elsewhere, Artisans continued refining specialized production techniques. Glassmakers improved clarity and consistency. Metalworkers developed stronger tools. Textile producers enhanced quality and variety. These improvements were not accidental. They were the result of accumulated skill and experimentation over generations. Innovation in Tudor England often came slowly, through trial, error, and refinement rather than rapid breakthroughs. Yet over time, these incremental improvements produced meaningful change. Another important profession was that of estate correspondence manager. Large estates communicated frequently with tenants, merchants, legal representatives, and government officials. Managing this flow of communication required organization and reliability. The correspondence manager ensured messages were drafted, sent, received, and recorded properly. In effect, they maintained the communication network of an entire economic system. As complexity increased, this role became even more essential. Across all these professions, one principle continues to stand out. Organization creates stability, and stability creates opportunity. Whether managing documents, finances, trade, labor, or communication, those who could impose order on complexity were consistently rewarded. This is why so many of the most desirable Tudor jobs appear administrative or knowledge-based. They required more than strength. They required judgment. They required understanding systems rather than simply participating in them. As the Tudor era draws closer to its end, these patterns become even more pronounced. The economy is more interconnected, the bureaucracy more structured, the professions more specialized, and the value of expertise more visible. A young person entering adulthood in this period could look around and see clear signals. Those with skills tended to advance further. Those with education tended to gain more options. Those with trustworthy reputations tended to build more stable lives. None of this guaranteed success, but it increased possibility. And possibility, in a world shaped by uncertainty, was one of the most powerful forces of all. As the light fades over towns, fields, and ports, the rhythms of Tudor professional life continue quietly. Records are completed, accounts are balanced, goods are stored, letters are written, plans are made for tomorrow. And within these ordinary actions lies something far more significant than it first appears. The steady construction of a society increasingly shaped by knowledge, skill, and professional expertise. The steady construction of a society increasingly shaped by knowledge, skill, and professional expertise. In the quiet closing of this long Tudor world, there is no single dramatic moment where everything changes at once. No sudden break. No clean ending. Only gradual transformation. Year by year, profession by profession, skill by skill. And by the final years of the Tudor period, England is already recognizably different from the world at its beginning. The most desirable jobs are no longer defined only by proximity to land or noble households. They are defined by capability. A physician is valued for medical judgment, a lawyer for legal interpretation, a merchant for commercial intelligence, a clerk for administrative precision, a teacher for the ability to shape minds, a steward for managing complex systems of wealth and obligation, a craftsman for mastery of technique. And beneath all of them runs the same quiet truth. Skill has become a form of power, not the loud power of armies or crowns, but the steady power of competence. As this long journey through Tudor occupations comes to rest, imagine once more the rhythm of an ordinary evening. Candles dim in study rooms. Ink dries on parchment. Tools are set down in workshops. Ledgers are closed with careful hands. Doors of inns and markets are secured. The day's exchanges are recorded in memory and paper alike. There is no grand announcement that the work is complete, only continuation. Because life in Tudor England never truly stops. It moves, it repeats, it adapts, and within that repetition careers are built. Now, as this exploration settles into silence, imagine a final slow breath through that old world. Not rushed, not loud, just steady awareness of a society where opportunity was never equal, but where it was increasingly possible for those who learned, for those who trained, for those who observed carefully and adapted quietly. And as the last images fade, merchants in dim halls, clerks at wooden desks, teachers at lecterns, physicians by candlelight, what remains is not only history, but a reminder that even in distant centuries, the most valued paths were often those built on knowledge, patience, and skill used well. Close your eyes for a moment, let the noise settle, and imagine the long Tudor world continuing somewhere far away in time, not ending, just slowly turning into the next chapter of history.